more specifically what happened last time. So you had been tasked with preventing a ritual from coming to fruition, a ritual that would apparently enable Pharaoh Mobius to track down the location of numerous powerful Eternity Shards. Among them, the Ark of the Covenant, the Spear of Longinus, Holy Grail, those sorts of things. He never goes for the small things, does the good Dr. Mobius. So you headed out in a broken down plane from a Cairo airfield out into the night, fought off flying scarab warriors, landed in a Gosbog field, fought those off, were assisted by some Israeli special forces, were teleported into a tank, and used the aforementioned tank to leave the literal field of battle, and made your way to the location where the ritual was taking place, that of the historical location, Mount Sinai. Some hours later, as the lights of dawn began creeping on the eastern horizon, you approached the site, crackling giveaway that something unusual was afoot. There was a small group of shock troopers and their commander at the top, guarding 3 Nile sorcerers who were joined in hands in chanting around a sandstone pyramid that they had built at the top. Also, you saw atop the pyramid was another one of the statues that you've been independently tasked with recovering. This one, you believe, a statue of the goddess Wadjet. As you approached, it seems that their ritual was coming to a fruition, and lightning began to crackle down even further from the clouds. The winds ripped up, and the being that they were summoning came to the fore. I've got a bit of an image to share from you from last week that I'm not sure we did share. The mighty ibis-headed creature that appeared, however, was clearly out of the sorcerer's control and proceeded to devour the shock troopers present, and then with its eye beams burning red, it obliterated the 3 magicians who had the audacity to call it down into the world. However, at that point, it would seem the arcing energy from the storm, the statue of Wadjet, interacting with that force, seemed to weaken the creature. And knowing that your... Is it AOH? I'll do that later. Knowing that your chance was there, you proceeded to layer bullets after bullets, either from your own weaponry or from those within the tank that you had taken control of. Sam was able to leverage the power of the storm to keep the beast weakened, because it would seem that the energy was waning and it was beginning to recover its strength. But you layered on the firepower, not letting up, ensuring that this raging embodiment of an Egyptian god of knowledge was banished from this realm. And if memory serves, it was one of the machine guns from the tank, I believe, that leveled the final blow. Or was I incorrect in that? Correct me if I'm taking somebody's glory away from them. Figurative, not literal glory card play. Can anyone remember who from last week what the actual last blow was?
I think I would have remembered it if it was me.
Okay, so graciously stepped back. It wasn't him.
I don't think it was me.
I know Theo did very well, but then the creature used its last reserves of energy to soak.
Thought it was me.
Well, somebody did. And with a baleful cry, the creature's body began to shatter as the energy within it overcame it, and it discorporated back to whatever nether dimension it was summoned from. The scene quietened, the storm abated, the winds dropped, the early morning dawn sun now just above the horizon cast long shadows over the mountain scene, and that was where we left last week. There's an eerie quiet atop the mountain. What are you doing?
We need to get that statue, don't we?
We'll probably drive up there first.
Who's driving? Is it Ryoko?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I think so.
You might need to make a drive check at this point.
Okay,
Who's up there?
let's drive there. Or not.
Like I
Possibility.
say, you don't have to worry.
It's simple.
If there's no dramatic impact to it, you don't have to make the roll.
It was Abraham did it.
Take your possibility back. You don't need to do that.
It was Abraham that did it with the small machine gun.
So
Is it
you.
really?
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
It was Abram. Well
Yep.
done. There you go. The
Okay.
monster hunter killed the big monster. How appropriate.
Yes! In your face, you lot.
Hey, I just was a step away from a quattro kill here. Driving the not quattro kill. Driving the tank off the cliff. Killing us all.
Well, you don't drive the tank off the cliff. You gun the engine back in. It's deep, throaty roar, and the tracks pick up, and you bring yourself up in line with the top. It's surprisingly clear of pretty much anything. For the top, there was a map for the area, but essentially you've got the image. The pyramid, the grey pyramid, is there. The statue of Wedget is no longer hovering above it. With the abatement of the energy, it has dropped and slowly slid to the bottom. The place looks like it's been scoured by the wind, but buried partially under some of the sand and dust from the top of the summit, you can see some small items of like boxes or crates still sticking up around. But it's going to take some time to search and to find out what's going on if you wish to do so.
I'll take a look around.
Didn't I work out something that he would come back or something? It was like a temporary.
You had.
Didn't I do some sort of scholar thing at the end?
You did do a scholar thing. You had initially felt that there was something wrong with what they were doing. You couldn't quite put your finger on it, but you are certain that there were errors in what they were doing. Maybe you've done a bit of Egyptology study yourself. You might know a little bit about the background, but you weren't able to glean much more than that at the time. So anybody that is searching, go ahead and generate a find total for me. Okay, Abram, Durak as well, and Dr. Dick. You start, you're all like coming around the top, pushing things over with your feet, getting down and dirty into the dust as and when's needed. Dr. Dick, the first thing you go over to, you go over and examine the statuette. It's a slightly different design to the two that you've found. Comparable size, maybe 2.5 foot tall. Doesn't have a plinth, so as it's seen on there, you can see her arms uplifted. The face has got a certain bird aspect to it, but the legs actually tail down into a spiral. It wouldn't stand on its own. You'd have to get some kind of plinth or support, probably under the wings. But it does seem to be made up of the same material as you saw before. And if you go to pick it up, it does give you that same feeling of the intensity of the Nile Empire reality as you pick it up to hold. Durak, you managed to uncover a couple of small crates. They're maybe about just under a foot square and maybe 3 to 6 inches deep. You find 2 of these. They appear to be quite heavy, but they are sealed. They're actually nailed shut, so you'd have to decide if you were going to actually lever the tops off or not. And Abram, in amongst the area in the lee of one of the pyramids, you find some papers that have miraculously not been blown away. It looks like they were blown against the pyramid, and at the same time, some dirt and dust was pulled up on top of them. And there's about half a dozen or so bits of paperwork. Some of them look to be related, others seem to be just lists of data. But the first one you recover looks to be some actual ritual notes. The top half, very much like a Rosetta Stone, the top half appears to be comprised of hieroglyphs of some shape or form, and the bottom half appears to be a translation of the aforementioned hieroglyphs. Looking at the English side, because it is written in English or an approximation thereof, it would appear that this has been transcribed from a pyramid somewhere, some ancient tomb, and it details a spell that instructs the faithful in the good and accurate summoning of Thoth's instructive words of knowledge. And by looking at it, there's some instructions on how to do this, and apparently the ritual will bring to the casters an embodiment of the knowledge god Thoth, whom they will be able to ask a number of questions. Are you attempting to look more detail into this?
I'm not gonna like summon him,
Mhm.
but I would definitely take notes on it, and so I wouldn't do anything it said or read out loud just in case or anything like that.
Okay.
I would be intrigued.
Give us a scholar check as you're looking on those.
Yeah, rule of 1.
$11. Darn it.
You've got the gist of the translation. Again, you've got that nagging doubt in the back of your mind that not quite right. You want to spend a possibility?
Go on. What's my skill total? Scholar. 13. I think that's right.
Okay, that's a good success. That's what you needed. You're looking at it, and your eyes begin to scan the hieroglyphs, and some of them are grouped in cartouches, as there would be the expectation. And you can see that there are a number of points where the cartouche within the hieroglyphs that obviously represents the name of the creature to be summoned. And you look at them and you realize through your own studies that some of the images in these cartouches are quite similar to others. And you suddenly realize what the sorcerers appear to have done wrong. They have translated the ritual perfectly correctly. Looking at this, this is a guide for somebody with the appropriate arcane chops, so to speak. So Sam could probably take steps with this. Would be able to summon the creature detailed within the text. However, the fundamental flaw they have done is the cartouche for the name. It is not the instructive words of knowledge. It's the destructive bird of carnage. And that's where you suddenly remember in your studies, looking at the thing and it didn't build up. Yes, this creature is something that is normally sent down to Earth or sent down to the Middle Kingdom by the god Thoth to punish those who are daring to plumb into secrets that man was not meant to know of. To quote a term, whoops, So at least you are now aware of what they did wrong. The other paperwork, you can take some time reading it. I'll go on to that in a minute. It looks to be some background knowledge about other items or some of the things that they were looking for. Durak, give us have you got anything to lever it open with? If not, you can just give us a strength check to try and rip the top of it off.
Check my inventory first. I go strength for nothing. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, you pull them away. There appears to be a large amount of straw within both of the boxes. But you open them, pull the straw away, and there appear to be, in each one, there are pairs of Webley 38 pistols and a significant amount of ammunition for the aforementioned as well.
Well, there's nothing useful in these boxes.
Is it by coincidence the same caliber I'm using?
Why not?
All right.
Slightly older, but let's say it fits.
Get me 10 bullets.
10 bullets? Wow.
You take a few more minutes to review the paperwork you've got. The papers appear to be itineraries of or lists of important documents or items that Mobius would appear to have been tasked his sorcerers with recovering. And lo and behold, it is a list of the items you know about. It's a slightly longer than list, but the ones that catch your attention: Spear of Longinus, Moses' staff, the Holy Grail, the Eye of Sebek, the Ark of the Covenant, and the Holy Grail.
Nothing about the statues.
Doesn't appear to have anything listed here about the statues. You going to spend a few more minutes reading things, Abram?
Yeah, I'll take as long as needed unless they want me
Yeah.
to move on.
Well, it looks like some of the notes are from the head ritualist, who has been writing things down. They've got some bits about his confidence in his translation. There apparently was some discussion between him and his colleagues that they didn't have enough power to pull this off, which is why they took it upon themselves to find an item of significant power to assist in this situation. It would appear that they were aware of the statuettes. They wanted the statuette of Thoth, which you already have in your possession, but it would seem that their request to their superiors to get that was denied because that had already, and the quote on the word is, has already been sent beyond the boundaries of the Empire. And it would seem the only one of the 10 that it mentions the statuette. Now, all 10 are mentioned. And I just need to find the document I wrote them down on. Give me a second. Never where you want them to be.
This is one of them. Collect them all and you get a big surprise.
Should be. But with your scholar skill, you recognize that on the whole, these would appear to be at least most of the major deities in the Armatist religion. And the 10 idols, there There is an idol of Ra, an idol of Bastet, an idol of Horus, an idol of Serket. There is one of Amit. There is one of Set. There is one of Wadjet. There is one of Anubis. There is one of Sebek. And there is one of Thoth.
Man, I must just remember that.
Which would mean that, as far as you guys are concerned, you have currently retrieved or have in your possession 4 of them.
Ah, cool.
Those being destruction, knowledge, and protection.
Well, at least ISIS is on the list, which is good because someone might overhear us and get the wrong impression.
But yes, she isn't. No, Daesh or whatever else you've got. You scour the remainder of the top of the mountain. Doesn't appear to be anything else of note. I mean, there's especially no evidence of any of the devoured shock troops. The ashes of the 3 sorcerers have long since been blasted away by the wind. And you're sort of at the top of a mountain in the middle of the Sinai Peninsula. Dr. Dick, you've got the highest just general find skill. You start to hear a low thrumming, sort of deep sound coming from somewhere to your west.
Does it? I'm not sure I know much about geology, but does it sound like an earthquakey sound?
No, it's coming from the air.
So I should probably hear and feel an earthquake if I hear it.
You look to the west, sun behind you, and seemingly probably about 2 or 3 miles distant, you can see something glinting in the morning sun. And as you squint or grab a pair of binoculars out, you look off in the distance, and it looks like, yeah, it's your Zeppelin.
Huh. That's weird. Look like the Zeppelin's coming. Why? Who'd be controlling that? I don't really. Well, let's find out. I guess.
It'll take more than about 20 minutes for it to get within closer range. And I mean, even before it comes into a relatively well done landing, you can see a familiar robotic face within the pilot's cabin. And as it approaches and a boarding ladder is dropped out of the side, a metallic face with a robotic New York voice calls out, "Did one of you guys call for a taxi?"
No.
Oh, you're so hilarious. Well, good thing I saved your metal ass, because, yeah.
As he backs away, there are 2 additional figures behind the door, and you can see it would appear to be at least 2 of the remaining Israeli Special Forces agents stood inside, and one of them calls out, "Sorry we took so long. We mobbed up down there, and then we asked our helicopter to go and get this, and, well, this guy," and he gestures back to the robot, insisted on coming along and seemed to nod to bring it back here.
Well, that's awfully convenient.
Well, it was all we could do. He wouldn't take no for an answer, thankfully. Anyway, the powers that be say we are to return for debriefing in Cairo. Anything here you need us to help with?
I think
look
we're
at the
done.
others. Yeah, I don't think we. Yeah, you may leave. Take leave. I don't know.
They both shimmy down and basically offer you assistance to get back up to the Zeppelin, but otherwise they say they will stay here and secure the site if need be. It's actually closer to their home base at this point on the Sinai Peninsula. Anyway, it's a lot closer to Israel than Cairo would be.
Oh, I thought it would be hilarious if we just left them here, you know?
Oh, they're more than happy to stay. They appear to not have the kind of ironic sense of humour that you would have liked them to have, Dr. Sanders. So, we'll get the paperwork dealt with now. So it's the end of an act. We've already dealt with the XP, and we're transitioning. We have a little bit of downtime. So if you want to say what you're doing within the next, it's about a week or so before your next activity. So within the realms of the safe house that you're staying at within Cairo, with the resources of the local Delphi Council support at your hands, what would you be doing over the next 6 or 7 days?
Making bullets, bombs, and potions, and studying my notes on everything
That's
I
a
found.
good idea. I'll make my bolts then, because I need some bolts.
Okay, well that all
try not
occurs
to
in
spend
between scenes with no particular effort. But is there anything you're doing beyond those elements?
Are we allowed to contact the Delphi people?
If you want to, you can
I'd
put it
like-
off.
Are we at the
I'd
Delphi
just
people?
request information, or I'd send a message, perhaps a coded message to people back at Gaia, or potentially not Gaia, with the message from the back of the note that I got.
Mm-hmm.
Just asking how is all lost? You know, how is it faring?
Okay, so you send that off. That might take a few days to return because, again, you haven't got as much, data on that one.
Have they not got carrier pigeons in this world?
You have got carrier pigeons in this world. They
Why am
can
I
get
fucking
it, but what you find is that within the realms that Arosh has claimed, news takes a long time to get out. But you can get news in. So somebody within the local Delphi Council echelons is more than happy to transcribe the message you want, and they get it sent through what they describe to you as through their wireless transmissions. When they get a response, they'll let you know.
Oh, thank you very much. I wait eagerly and then just busy myself.
Okay. Theo, a couple of days into what is essentially it's a bit, I call it downtime, but you're at a loss for things to do. So any small item or event comes as a good means to break up what is otherwise some monotony. You've seen some of the others getting involved with training. I'm probably find Dr. Sanders is pottering around in the labs with Zed, who's the Canadian weird scientist he was talking to before. but there's not much for somebody of your moral aptitude to get on with. You spend a couple of days out and about in the city of Cairo, reviewing the architecture but keeping your head down. So about 3 or 4 days in, when you return to the safe house and you've received a sealed message that has the symbol of the Holy See on the front of it. After all that, is Theo actually there?
I think he fainted.
He may have gone AFK. But anyway, he's got a message from the Pope. Ryoko, you get a couple of normal messages in a communique from home again. Your sister is seemingly doing well. Your father, here it goes, we can't hear you again. Your father appears to have been doing well in his new job. Unfortunately, your concerns from before are confirmed, as some of your corporate workings indicate that yes, indeed, the company he's now working for is, albeit 2 or 3 layers removed, some kind of holding company for some resources that are ultimately part of the Kanawa Corporation. You've also been keeping quite close track on the news coming out of the Far East. And as far as you can tell, you are noting, if I just go back to the right date, that incidences of the contagion are now being reported on by world news organizations as far west as Hanoi. But it would appear that somewhere on the Thai Peninsula, as you head up north towards China, the contagion is taking some very, very nasty turns, it would appear.
Like Train to Busan terms.
Worse. So it would appear that not only are the usual people that get infected with the contagion, you have like what they call the Yangshi, the hopping vampires.
Yeah.
They're not actually vampires, but their muscles contract, the skin tightens, they get that hopping feel. There are reports that some of those who are becoming infected in the areas that your last review of the world map showed as being the areas that are crossing over into Arosh, that there are true supernatural horrors coming out of those elements. And one other report catches your eye, where it would seem that a fisherman, or a number of fishermen, on a Taiwanese trawler off the south coast or just off the east coast, of Vietnam, about a day or so ago, they reported seeing something large in the water. They were interviewed. Somebody said, well, wasn't it a whale? No. They said they knew what whales looked like. This was not a whale. We haven't seen anything like this in the South China Sea before. This thing was huge. It was hunched. There were spines coming out of its back, and it seemed to be slowly heading south. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yep.
All right, that sounds very concerning. Is there any?
Well, the issue you've got is you found that article in one particular one, but when you start looking, because you've got access to the internet where you are, radio signals still get through. You've got various items of boosters, especially we're on the north coast of Cairo, because that's the top level of the Nile Empire invasion zone at this point. So you're never too far away from a core Earth radio signal. It's a bit patchy, but you can manage. But it would seem that none of the news coming out of China, Japan, Vietnam, not Vietnam, North and South Korea. None of it has any evidence of this expansion of the contagion. It's really hard, if not impossible, when you're looking at the official state news networks, which you will still have access to. There's hardly any evidence of any infected attacks or anything else. It's almost like the news is being almost completely suppressed. The only information that you do find of any relevance is generally good PR for the security forces who are responsible for beating down any individual outbreaks of the contagion. But citizen journalists, shall we say, are able to get seemingly data out, and you have got quite harrowing regular like mobile phone footage of hordes of these infected individuals overrunning different areas of the country, and especially in the western areas of the zone. There's one particularly harrowing one where somebody was able to get some footage near a Tibetan monastery on the outskirts, where they took in, apparently a few days beforehand, they took in a wounded man, and within 24 hours, the entire monastery had fallen. There's this cobbled together footage from various different mobile phone footages and other areas where you can just see the thing rising in flames and just all of these bodies just surging out into the local area, until again you see heavily armored, well-trained armed security forces with automatic weaponry coming in, moment's notice, taking down everyone in the area. But within an hour of you seeing that footage, the copy that you've got is all you can find. Anything on the various like Alibaba news feeds or whatever that's coming out of China, gone. Almost as if it never existed.
Good old. What's it called? Naka something?
Kanawa.
Kanawa, yeah.
Yeah.
Still holding everything back.
What's Dueck said? I wonder if the Cosmos is based on VR in an RP game. And I play a man in his computer. What, Dreamland? Or was it Dreamland? That's the one where you're RPing as somebody in a VR. But it is a film as well. Theo,
So, sorry,
your
I get a letter.
sealed missive. You get a sealed missive. So it's in an ambassadorial chunk or an ambassadorial envelope. It's got the seal of the Vatican City on it.
Oh well, I'll definitely excitedly open that. It's got to be from my boss. Well, not the boss, but one of the bosses.
It's from a boss.
It could be from
it's
the
the
boss, I suppose.
Cardinal. No, it's not. The Pope hasn't put pen to paper on this one.
Not that the boss,
Yeah. Yeah.
The,
I see what you mean. No, yeah, not the. Yeah, no.
Boss.
It's being channeled. That boss is channeling. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a situation report. It would seem that they are sending this information out to select individuals in the VSS. And it would appear that you are one. Their reasoning for that is that apparently your activities and the information you've been gathering has not been coming just to the VSS as it is, but they have also been hearing good things from the people you are cooperating with within the Delphi Council. And they have deemed it necessary to ensure that wherever possible, you are as informed of any ongoing actions that may have an impact to your arena of operation.
That's terribly kind of
them. It would seem that the forces of the church, and when they are calling that the church, that's your church or anything within the Pope's remit, have been successfully repelling any attempts by the heretics to spread their domain any further into the east, and apart from the very tip of the north of Italy, all of the Holy Land remains firmly in control of the Catholic Church and its allies.
Excellent, excellent news. I'll be pleased by this.
You are informed that a number of missionaries trained for the purpose have been quickly scrambled into the South American area to investigate your reports of what had been going on in that region. While they have not been able to find any physical evidence yet, they have interviewed a large number of the locals, and the locals are indeed reporting that individuals claiming to be of faith have been traveling around in lots of different areas of South America, touting the credo of, if not the cyber church,
No.
certainly a slightly pulled back and possibly less extreme element of it.
Well,
And there are a number of credible reports of miraculous healings taking place.
This is a bit of a double-edged sword, this missive. Good news on one area, but the bad news is that the cyber papacy is extending its grasp elsewhere.
They're almost certain. They are. There is clear evidence that Jean Malraux's forces are trying to make inroads into the Catholic base of the Christian faith within South America.
No, this is no good. We need to. Yeah, I mean, this is. I'll look hungrily for any reports of this. I'll scour find as much information as I can about it. Where if there's any clusters where it's
Give us a scholar check while you're doing that.
Oh bugger. Okay.
It's all about research.
Yeah, I know. It's the skill I need to buy. I'm going to buy Scholar. Okay, so it's not very good, but it's better than nothing.
Okay, you got a success at least. One of the things you do find, because you start going out of your way to scan the Southern American news feeds, you find the equivalent of a Brazilian CNN. Or possibly a Brazilian Fox News, because it would seem to be a bit more of an extreme right-wing conspiracy theorist news station that you find. And possibly...
It's like a Brazilian Alex Jones.
Yes, that sort of thing. And the one thing that worries you even further is over the last couple of days, you don't find any evidence or anyone speaking about these influx of foreign religious infidels. None of that is mentioned. What this equivalent to that Brazilian Alex Jones does find is some very grainy photographs taken apparently and geolocated, so in the right place, deep within the Amazon jungle. And again, when I say grainy, they're maybe 500-600 meters away, blurry, in the shade, but clearly you can see humanoid figures with tails deep in the Amazon jungle.
Tails like forked devilish tails, or like tails like jaguar people?
Tails like reptile tails.
Reptilian.
You,
Satan at work.
well, who missed the opportunity to say DuckTales?
No, they weren't ducks.
Okay.
Dr. Sanders, are you the sort of person that pays attention to the news as well?
Yeah, a bit probably.
Okay. The only one that catches your eye is in amongst all of the normal propaganda about the lizards and everything else that's going on, and people rising up and the government in Houston not doing a particularly good job, and other people saying they're doing the best job they can. And it's the American news is extremely gung-ho at the moment. It's all about fighting back the invaders. You caught a news article that it hit one news cycle and then you didn't see it again. Maybe mentioned once or twice, but never more than 2 or 3 times in any given news station. And there's something about misappropriation of funds by an American senator, Senator Jason Wild, who apparently was, and he hasn't faced any backlash from this yet, was diverting funds to an organization called Stormbreak. The news you're watching describes Stormbreak as an independent freedom fighters organization, which is essentially newspeak for mercenaries. And you're talking about a significant amount of cash. What they're doing with that, the news have no information for. These are essentially receipts that have been brought up through another investigation into something else, and just happened to bring this information to the fore about this senator transferring funds in an unauthorized fashion to what's essentially a paramilitary mercenary organization.
And that's within the United States, is it?
100% within the United States of America, yes.
Yeah, in which case it's a bit. I mean, if it was another country, that would be par for the course, but.
Kerry, midway through the downtime, so we're talking about maybe 15th, 16th of September, Saturday or Sunday, your choice. You begin to have some weirdly vivid dreams. Now, obviously, Sam is a contemporary man of his realm, correct?
Yes.
I believe he was Terran Chicago Police Force or something like that, if I remember correctly, or private detective, wasn't
he? Yeah.
And if you recall, there was some kind of mystical accident or exposure to some kind of mystical artifact which resulted in you being merged with the spirit of the ancient pharaoh Akhenaten, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. It's that time that you're dreaming of. And you have this recurring dream twice. I mean, maybe even 3 times. You wake up in a cold sweat on one of them and go back to sleep and you have exactly the same dream. It's time back when Akhenaten was indeed the pharaoh of his realm, thousands of years ago. And there was a priestess who Akhenaten had a particular dalliance with. He was an all-powerful pharaoh, none to say, so it was for him to decide what happened and who it happened with. But this was a particularly beautiful young priestess who was dabbling in the sorcerous arts. He enjoyed her company. Her name was Natifa. And it's a particular evening that you are recalling in quite vivid detail when your number one wife caught you again, and you had a good relationship with her, but she did not like it when you slept with those who were not part of your the royal court. Natifa was not one of those favoured young ladies. And you know that it was her that caught you because your wife Kefru was a vengeful woman, and she was quite cunning, quite scheming, and she knew your activities. She knew the habits of your lover, and she knew that immediately after leaving your side, Natifa would go from your chambers and walk out onto the balcony and bask in the light of the moon. She loved walking naked in nothing but moonlight, which is why the scorpions that stung her to death were placed there by your number one wife, Kefru, and you were able to ascertain that it was her who was responsible for the death of one of your lovers. The dream ends with you cradling Natifa's dying form in your arms, with Akhenaten calling out for the priests to rush to your chambers to see what they could do to save the one who you had blessed with your loving embrace. But it stops just before they enter the room. And every time you awaken, the spirit of Akhenaten is buried deep within the back of your mind, and you can tell that he is mourning at this point. Sometimes you're able to have little internal conversations between yourself and him. It would seem that at this point he is not keen to engage, and it's left you in a bit of a sullen mood on those days when you wake up after that fact.
Okay.
Okay. Towards the tail end of the downtime, the downtime's going to end on the 20th, just to move the calendar on a little bit. The Senator Wild thing came up on the 18th. Round about the 16th and the 17th, however, not that you're involved in it, but you can see all of the Delphi Council personnel that are within the safe house rushing around at a pace, because it would appear that soon after the activities where, remember on the 11th, just before you guys arrived, or just when you arrived, the Nile Empire forces retook Mecca, which they'd held off. There is a report that there's massive troop movements away from that area. Local news describes on the morning of the 17th of September, the sky above Riyadh is rent asunder, and a great stone bridge rips down and plunges straight into the center of the city of Riyadh. And in a bloody 12 hours, the Nile Empire expands into Saudi Arabia. The Saudi government is able to be removed, and at this point they have fled to Dubai. The local, I'm not going to call them police because the Delphi Council aren't police, but the local group within the Delphi Council are desperately trying to get resources engaged for people, to move people around. If there's anything you can do to assist in some small way, you are able to do so. But Deputy Governor Nakatomi says you aren't to leave Cairo. You're needed to do jobs here. He leaves to find out what else needs to be done, and you don't hear from him for 72 hours. By the next Thursday, you get a coded message from somebody, it's not named, but the message informs you all to, at your best speed, make your way to Rome for a meeting with Snowflake.
Snowflake.
Yes, you have no idea who Snowflake is, but apparently it's a code name.
The Pope.
There's no way the Pope's called Snowflake. I don't believe that.
He's pure as the driven snow.
Yeah, but
He's the
he's
Pope.
got to have a name that's a bit, Sword of God or something,
Yeah,
If he
maybe
has
it's,
a code name.
maybe it's the Pope's pooch.
Also, the Pope's in the Vatican. He's not in Rome.
Okay, well, let's go and see.
We've got to go. We've got to go to Rome though to get to the Vatican.
You would have to, yes. You. Okay, how are you travelling? I'm assuming you're travelling by Zeppelin?
Oh yes, I like the Zeppelin.
Yeah, we got that.
It's a nice day for a walk, isn't it?
Cairo to Rome, there's a significant amount of swimming on the way.
A swim, maybe. A little swim. It's the Med. It'd be gorgeous.
Well, apart from the fact, it's actually quite rough at the moment because obviously around the if we still stick to day 165 at the moment. I think it's in my map section. I haven't had a chance to produce the map for where you are at the moment, which will be day 172. So if I just share this, the only main differences on this map is essentially if you go to the eastern bit of the Nile Empire. Sharing, stop sharing, share record. No, I keep losing the sync bit. It's under layers. No, it's not under layers. Where's the sync bit? View. That's the one, sync client view. So what's just been described is essentially a significant amount of the areas within Saudi Arabia are now under Nile control. And the other thing to remember is that I can't move that now. Why can't I? Give it a bit. Anywhere in this area and anywhere around the edge, reality storms are raking the area. So yes, the Med might be nice, but it's also a bit choppier than it would normally be at this point.
All right. We'll go in a gas-filled balloon in a storm. That's fine then.
Yeah.
Well, you're able to go significantly over to deal with those, but sometimes we have to worry about it. But again, if it's not pertinent to the drama, we don't have to. And
do we have to go through those barriers? Where are those barriers? We walked in Paris or somewhere.
Well, the boundary.
It was like, yeah, where were those?
They're at the edges. So that is where you.
We never really have to worry about them.
Well, you do if it's pertinent to the plot of the story.
Oh.
But just 12 hours ago, you arrived in Rome, summoned by the Delphi Council to a secret base of operations under a cafe in Rome itself. Waiting for you in a staging room was a Japanese man in a fine suit wearing a goatee. He greets you all and gestures. It's Kenneth Yakatomi, whose codename is Snowflake, and you've met him before. He left 3 days ago. He gestures for you to sit, and after a round of greetings, he sits too at the table, which has a lot of information about Africa, the Nile Empire, scattered maps, scribbled notes, aerial photos, dossier files, all manners of intelligence. He sweeps it aside and slides a folded note in front of you.
See, I told you he wasn't going with the Pope.
This message
I'm pretty disappointed, actually.
This message was intercepted by one of our informants in Cairo. Have a look. It's dated 2 days ago, 17th. It reads, for Pharaoh's eyes only. Dig proceeds on schedule. Eye of Sebek close. Need Was to open Great Seal. Acquire Museo del Antico, Venice. He looks at Durak and says, that is why my codename is Snowflake, because I do, and am able to melt away with no trace. And he watches you read with an amused expression on his face. Right. We don't know what it means either, but it must be pretty important. The message was in code, and clearly not meant for others. We recently captured an Enigma machine, and that's the only reason we could break the code. Clearly, Pharaoh Mobius is after something.
I love how they got an Enigma machine. That's brilliant.
I wanted your group involved because have you seen a connection between your own recent activities and something within that note? He looks at Dirac, nods as the dwarf puts out the information that he doesn't.
No.
Do anything others used to? Because I don't.
Abram, Dr. Dick, being the scholarly types, both of you give us a scholar check.
I'm a scholarly type too.
I know, but you don't pay attention to this sort of nonsense.
20.
I've
24.
Abram's obviously got a good memory, and he did find the documentation.
I've got good notes. That's all. Good
You flick
notes.
through your notes.
I'll keep writing.
Changed my skill.
Go ahead.
Broken it.
You've broken this. Have you broken the macro?
Yeah, sorry. I basically increased my skill because I thought, well, that's what I was doing in the downtime.
Yeah, no worries. You can go back and sort it out later. I'll have a look at it in a minute. Abram, you go back through your notes, and you've digitally recorded stuff. When you were on top of Mount Sinai, the list of items that Mobius was particularly looking for: the True Cross, the Spear of Longinus, the Staff of Moses, the Ark of the Covenant, the Eye of Sebek. And that is mentioned within this note.
Eye of Sebek. So we had the Eye of Sebek.
No, you
Oh,
have
yeah, it was.
statue.
Oh, we have the statue of Sebek.
Yeah. Whatever the note means, and whoever sent it, if Mobius wants it, and it is clear from your own actions with previous intelligence that he does want it, we want to get it first. Who
So
keeps rolling? It's testing.
So you just need someone to open a door then, did you say?
No. For your part, I need you to get to Venice and find out what Mobius is after. He probably has agents on the way there right now, so time is of the essence. With the museum's curator is traveling overseas, and his assistant was less than useful. So we are going to have to do this the hard way. Wait until it closes. Get in there. Take a look around. We have some equipment that should help with the infiltration. Afterwards, get to Cairo and meet up with our informant there, Shafira Azar. She is a reporter for the Cairo Clarion, as an underground newspaper. She'll be waiting for you at a gin joint called Mix. Normally, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have, but I told you everything we already know, and we need you to get moving. Good luck. Well, if I was able to get to Venice, it would have been quicker, but I am called away back to Cairo. This was the easiest point in between the two. A few hours later, you're in Venice, scouting out the museum. After dark, you hid from the guards, doing their rounds, and, with some of the equipment you were provided, climb a rear wall to access the roof. Everything's going smoothly. This should be over in no time. Your thoughts are interrupted as you spot security cameras at both ends of the gallery. Just then, a small cloud of dust from the open skylight that you are clustered around reveals the glint of a laser lattice crisscrossing the floor beneath you. This won't be as easy as you thought. Now, before we go on to this, can everybody please discard all of the cards that you currently have? Every single last one.
Every single last one?
Every single last one.
I wish it was like just a quick thing that lets you delete all.
Yeah, unfortunately there isn't at this moment. I've got a nice reset all on mine, but that's for the drama deck and everything else.
So there's a corridor. There's like laser lattices.
I'll describe that in a minute. But yeah,
Two
it's
cameras.
essentially you're looking down into a museum. It's not really a hallway; it's a hall. Maybe 30 meters across. It's quite big. Maybe double that wide. Oh, who's grabbing Core Earth Cosm cards? You found out you can roll your own ones. Grr. Okay, you're okay. You can have that one. Everyone's possibilities.
You've opened it for us.
You opened it for us.
Oh, did I? Well, there you go. It's my fault.
Or shared
Everybody
it.
resets to your base possibilities. That is 3 unless you have skills or powers that mean you have more?
That's my cosm card, right?
Yeah, you can have that one. I'll roll the others.
All right.
One of the only things I'm allowed to do. So, Theo, your core Earth cosm card, as you're in a dominant core Earth zone,
Mm-hmm.
sees the day.
Okay. Okay, that's not bad.
Ryoko, you've already got yours. Sam, you've got escalation. Dr. Sanders will be right back, so we'll do Abram. Welcome to our world.
Is that the right one?
What do you mean? Yeah.
Well,
It's got a picture of a lizard on it because it's you're forcing somebody else to make an immediate, near impossible reality roll or be disconnected. That's used on
Ooh.
other people. Durak,
yes.
Spurdon. And for when Dr. Sanders gets back,
I'm back.
Lucky Break.
Just think, guys, if you go down, we all get better. So,
Those are the core Earth world laws.
Oh, I like that.
So glory cards are always available in core Earth. If you choose to play for the critical moment, which is within a scene or once an act, you can basically play all the cards from your hand into your pool. But then if you don't use them, they're all discarded. But when you do that in core Earth, you can swap in a glory card for any of your cards from the drama deck. Destiny deck. You are back down to a hand size of 4, for you are not currently within the Nile Empire. But there's still a frisson of action underlying everything, because Core Earth is the cosm of action movies, after all, just not necessarily Saturday morning action movies. So, Theo, you should have 3 possibilities. So should Sam.
Okay.
I don't think you've got anything that increases that, either of you. So, Theo, your 4 Destiny cards are Setback, Hero, Second Wind, and Supporter.
Yeah.
Who's going to do their job and put a break in there?
Yeah, I did it before he
break it.
moved. I put some
Feels too
kisses for
slow.
you. Hold on. what-
Ryoko, you're getting drama, close call, idea, and willpower. Sam, you are getting action, opponent fails, nemesis, and seize initiative.
$63.
Hang on,
Nothing happened.
I haven't done it yet. Where did that come up? That was weird. Dr.
It's
Sanders,
already been used.
monologue, martyr,
Yeah.
coup de grace, and inspire. Abram. Wait for someone
Give me
to
some loving, Theo. Give me some loving.
Sorry, there you go.
Oh,
Darling.
not as much
Oh,
as
you
you
did-
gave
you-
Dr. Dick.
So we know you're on the list then.
Yeah. I'm quite low down here, aren't I?
Glory, action, coup de grace.
I saw very little action from Theo there.
Durak,
All right, show off.
second chance. Willpower. I don't know why it thinks a D60 is a valid roll of the dice, but it did so. You only get animated dice when it hits one it thinks is valid. Reconnect and action.
Can I just point out, you guys stop stealing my reconnects.
So just to represent the passage of time, we begin our standard scene on top of a museum in Venice, clustered around a skylight. You basically have some, shall we say, Mission Impossible style rappelling equipment if you wish to use it. You've got a significant amount of rope, things to anchor it with, climbing harnesses if you wish to use them. From here, you can see the main gallery from above appears to be home to the museum's Roman exhibit. It's a large room. It's nearly 30 meters long, maybe about 15 wide. The skylight that you're crowded around is about 20 feet up in the center of the gallery. Directly under your skylight, you can see a statue. It appears to be a seated Julius Caesar. All around the room that you can see, because the lights are still on low, it's not completely dark, are Roman statues, chariots, gladiator armor, cases of pottery and weapons, busts of dour-looking senators, and so on. But, as you can see, when you look down, you've got a laser grid crisscrossing certain areas of the room, and cameras. You also know there are window sensors, but one of you with technical acumen, in this case Dr. Sanders, already disabled the one in the skylight that you are currently clustered around.
Do you know anything about the layout of the museum?
You do know that the gallery that you need, because the Egyptian gallery, you're assuming, is to the left of the one you're currently in. So you would have to get down into the Roman exhibit and then go out of the left side door.
So we have to get.
All right. I'm thinking I could do some sort of. I'll just say it in character. I'm looking at some high tech stuff I could do to maybe disable some of the security measures.
Can I stop you there? Wizard, why don't you do one of them portal things and just portal us into the past all this stuff?
A healthy sense of caution.
Where did caution get us?
I don't want to leap into the unknown. I'd rather go slowly and see what we're dealing with.
Okay, wizard.
We also have to get out. So if anything goes wrong, I don't want to have us all trapped in there with no way out.
This is how you got into the luggage case, right?
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be.
Elaborate Houdiniac gone wrong.
Yeah. Now, one thing to say while portaling in is a perfectly valid point. The one thing you do know about Sam's magic is it's not quiet. It's not stealthy. The portal glows bright blue. So you'd have to think about that. I mean, Durak wouldn't know anything about monitoring cameras at all, but there are at least 2 cameras covering this hallway, or this hall, sorry. And you know there are security on site. You just don't necessarily know where they are, unless you make particular rolls or decide what you're looking for.
Is there any other? What do you call these things? That
Didn't you say he had to scream out his intent?
His casting is loud, but also the effects. For example, you could teleport down to the bottom, but then the cameras are going to show a big blue portal opening up in the middle of the Rome exhibit. So it's up to you to decide how stealthy you want to be at this point.
I can astral travel and then just get a big layout.
Yeah, you could. Your astral form is pretty much invisible.
Even before we go in, we know exactly where the cameras are.
Like, if you want to go ahead with that, that's perfectly valid. Go for it.
I mean, but that
Yeah,
would
do
take
that.
time.
Get some reconnaissance.
Right.
Go ahead and cast your spell.
Will he
Let's
still
say
trigger the
you might have done that.
lasers?
The astral travel wouldn't, because it's essentially invisible. Actually, let's double check that. Is
Does
it
it
completely
still have a
invisible, or
physical
does it
form?
look a bit ghostly? I don't believe it has any physical form, but it might still have some degree of appearance.
We've probably had some time to prepare for this, right? I'm just wondering
Yeah,
what I did.
you would have had
Could've
time to prepare.
Done some weird science thing. I'm just trying to figure out what.
Yep, you can do that with your whole I will, or you can even spend 10 minutes now doing a weird science thing should you wish to do so.
Some weird cloaking thing, maybe.
Who's Cosms and Venice? by the way?
Jammer. Thinking
Cora.
jammer.
That's why I shared the Cora one.
Just
Yep,
core.
It's not mix or anything. It's core Earth dominant. Oh, what am I looking for? It's in the Nile Empire book, isn't it? Astral form.
Yeah, difficulty 14. If I get a good success, I can.
Parallel to physical existence, When certified, you intentionally separate your body and you become helpless and inert as if it were sleeping. Your astral form is transparent, so it's visible, but not as visible. So you're going to be, and also you can fly above and through, so you can avoid cameras relatively easily. So you can make, essentially, you can do whatever you want moving around. You're going to have a simple stealth check too, because you're a lot easier to hide. But if you become good, you're invisible. So that's good. So on a good success, you become completely.
What counts as a good?
Anything 5 over the difficulty number. So astral form is a 14 because it's hard. So a 19 will make you invisible.
Got 19.
You got a 19. So you're completely invisible. You fly around with impunity. So yes, you note that not only are there 2 cameras, and your tech levels, and you'd understand cameras. And anyway, like say Dr. Dick describes, it might be tiny because you're used to cameras with like tripods and possibly a big windy thing on the side. So these little things in the corner of the room which are moving backwards and forwards. So you know the room is to a large degree covered by 2 cameras. You head west out of the hall. You can't see, the lasers are actually invisible. You're only able to see them when like dust motes hit them in the eyes, but you know those are in that area. There's a short corridor between here and the Egypt exhibit, and halfway down that corridor you can see there's what looks like a guard station, because there's a window set off to one side, and as you go past you can see there are 2 security guards in there watching a few banks of monitors. Every so often one of them stretches and just leans back over his right shoulder and looks to the window, to the hallway outside. You make your way into the Egyptian gallery. It's not as big as the Roman one, and you can see similar artifacts just of an Egyptian ilk within there. At this moment, I mean, give us a find check if you're looking to a large degree.
Everyone.
No, just Sam. His body is still with you, yes. He sat down, crossed his fingers. He didn't just collapse. He sat down, crossed his legs, put his hands down, and then after some appropriate words, his head just dropped down, chin hitting his chest. So yeah, Sam, give us a find check. Not bad. You're looking around. You can't see anything that would. I mean, you've got no idea what the eye of Sebek looks like, but maybe it's an eye. Maybe it has some crocodilian aspect to it for Sebek. You can see nothing in here has any particularly obvious eye motifs. There are a couple of statues that would appear to be one of the Egyptian gods, not Sebek amongst them. There's no lizardine or crocodilian bits here. Look at the body, notice the look on his face, and put 2 and 2 together from on the airship. Feels a little sheepish. Oh, what, when you
I woke him up.
Yeah.
Thought I was doing him a favour. It's like, oh, maybe it was meant to be like that.
Is it
Oops.
supposed- Do we know if it's supposed to be on display?
You know no more than what was in the note, and the fact that the note mentions it being in this museum. This is the Museo d'Antiquité in Venice.
Well, museum, a very small proportion is on display, so I'll go and look in the basement or wherever they keep.
Okay. So you head down through the floor, like most museums. It's got some underground storage, not a huge amount considering you are in Venice. So you notice that as you're passing through, because you can pass through objects, that the storage down here is very well pumped and drained and kept dry. So you start looking through. You can see that the vaults down here are quite extensive. They're at least as big, if not bigger, than the museum itself above, and not very much is out. It's all packed away, filed, stored under cloth, behind glass, in a crate. But you're spending your time going through there. Give me a find check so we can just see how long that's going to take you.
Presumably I can't cast spells.
Not in astral form, because I'm going to say, yeah, you're going to need, certainly not that would impact the physical world. You might be able to cast some that would still affect other things that are astral.
Yeah, that's another question.
Like,
Is he able to interact with objects while in that form?
No, because he's intangible.
Exactly. So just
Yeah, because you can view the physical realm as if you were present, but you cannot interact with beings or objects present. But you can interact with and be attacked by ghosts, spirits, and other immaterial entities. Detect magic, I would. I'd probably.
It says if I get a good success, I can become visible and speak.
Yeah.
So that would imply that I can cast a spell.
Any of your abilities not connected to physical objects can be used in astral form, including inherent pulp powers, pulp sorcery, rituals, miracles, or spells. You can attack using unknown combat, but that's only other immaterial beings. So yeah, detect magic, you can do that. If you want to, you're concentrating on this, so your difficulties for the detect magic are going to increase by 2. But that appearing, you can then you can do taunts and verbal interaction attacks at that point.
Like in Big Bang Theory, like Bazinga.
If you want to, yeah. I don't know what that would be. That would be a taunt, I'm assuming. Bazinga. So I don't think you're going to have a particular problem casting detect magic. I don't think it's a particularly arduous one.
Well, I'm not very good at the divination. So I might have a go.
So it's a 12.
Yeah.
With the increase from concentration, it's a difficulty 12.
Trying to find the skill.
Now, at the moment, you guys back on the roof, you have no means of communicating with Sam whatsoever. So, did you decide beforehand how long you were going to leave it before you decided to head through? Or are you just going to wait for Sam to wake up again?
I'm quite happy to wait patiently. Are we on a deadline? Like it needs to be done by...
You are under the impression that Mobius is also going to be sending forces to look for this. You have no idea, however, how long that deadline is.
Keep an eye out for any forces.
Okay, so you are in the bit, so you still do need to go whatever, Ayavakamoto, whatever. So it's a bit loud, but you're intangible, so it's only loud to people in the astral plane. And there are no other people in the astral plane with you right now. A number of objects do give off particular auras. All of them are a bit weak. By the way, the divination 8 is the difficulty to learn detect magic. It's always the DN on there. So detect magic is a standard, so it's DN 10, which is why it was a +2 for the maintaining the other spell. Hence, it was 12. But you did succeed. but you've got your time, so it's only 25 meters at this point. But yeah, there are at least within your local area, there are at least 3 things with minor magical auras to them. If you investigate them, one is a old book that appears to be wrapped and safely stored within a shelf with other books. There is a small article of jewelry. Which, I mean, you have to put your head in and then see if you can see it, because you can't actually open the drawer to see them. But you can look in and make it out. It looks like a sort of a teardrop earring with a really minor magical duoma on it. And the third one appears to be an item of clothing towards the back of the storage area, where they've got almost like a sort of an archaic cloakroom, so to speak, and it's a long coat of probably about 14th or 15th century Venetian design. So it's quite a long sort of like velveteen coat. The sort of thing that you might have seen. What was the one that David Tennant played? What was his name? The famous lover, Casanova. That style coat.
I think it's detected on the other artifact we found, right? So I'll be looking for something similar strength to that.
Yeah, in this area, you're not seeing anything with a powerful strength.
Okay, I'll drift around above as well, just looking for something similar, ignoring everything weaker than that.
Ignoring anything that's not. You spend maybe the next 20 minutes or so, and you drift back through the Rome exhibit, back through the Egypt exhibit. Nothing's coming up magical beyond the 3 bits that you found downstairs. So it may be that either the Eye of Sebek might not be magical, or you are aware that some substances, especially in significant amounts, can block magical emanations. You are certainly aware of rituals that can be cast upon things to block magical emanations. Akhenaten in the back of your head tells you that is quite common within tomb sites, where if the entombed individual is a powerful sorcerer of evil intent, then the people entombing them would put wards and defenses to prevent their magic from leaking out. But about 30 minutes later, you've got a very good idea of the layout. You know exactly how to get down into the catacomb bit if you want to recover those items in addition to what you're doing. You don't think any of those is the Eye of Sebek, but you've got a little bit of information for that. And you've got the lie of the land of the security. When you get back, you can relay that to others. If people are going through, then their stealth checks are going to be favoured as a result of that. And you are pre-warned of, well, there are some guards in between. It's taken you about 25-30 minutes up until this point. It's not yet midnight, but it is relatively late in the evening.
Right. Okay. I think what I would have prepared as a weird science thing is like some sort of hacking device, maybe like it looks kind of like an energy weapon or something that you just with a computer screen on it.
Okay.
Using the hack. It's basically just a thing that lets me. I'm thinking I'm going to remotely hack into the security system.
Sure. So we're talking about the security system. I mean, you're not aware of the monitor bank, but Sam might come back to you in a minute and tell you about that. But we'll assume that you've been devising something that'll override the cameras, yeah? That you do and that you are aware of.
Yeah.
Okay, give it a follow check.
Yeah.
Or it's a science, isn't it, for you, doing weird science?
Yeah, or it could be computers.
Yeah, either one if you want to be applicable. I mean, computers is more for modern staff. I reckon you're probably going to do science at this point. You fall through the roof and gets KO'd. You're such a cynical dwarf.
gonna spend a possibility on that one.
I would do, because it's only a 5 at the moment. Don't forget, even though you are Core Earth in Core Earth, you are using weird science, so it's always a 1-case contradiction. In fact, no, it's a 4-case at the moment because it's not native to you and it's not native to the local area. So it's a 4-case. So you came very close to disconnecting just then. Right, so you can give everybody that's going to basically count as a bonus to anything that is being done involving the cameras. If you'd got an outstanding success, you would have just disabled the cameras entirely. But at the moment, that's going to count as a +2 to the stealth check. So you've now got a favoured +2.
How far off am I?
Your difficulties were standard, which is a 10. You are 4 away from outstanding, which would just turn the cameras off. So you wouldn't need to deal with the cameras. You'd still need stealth to get past the laser grid and the guards, but you'd eliminate the cameras from the situation entirely.
I could. Well, it's not possible to spend another possibility, is it? No, I'm pretty sure that's not.
You can
And
only play one.
I've only got us. Yeah, and we can't get any cards.
Unless
to help
anyone's
you.
got a card.
I've got supporter,
I've got-
but it only gives you +3.
Yeah,
If
I'm gonna need. I need 4. So
You drama or a hero card.
If there's another 1, we can
yeah,
get you from
that's what
somewhere.
I need.
Oh, I've got a hero card as well.
I
Well,
got a drama card.
so, you've got a drama. Well, I've got a hero.
Whatever you feel like. Whoever's feeling the most generous, I guess.
I play it as a possibility. Haven't I got to give it to you though?
What? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah, you have to swap it with one of his.
Yeah. So, if you
Yeah. What do you want? I got monologue, martyr, coup de grace, and spire.
martyr, please. Very me. So I think does the GM
Embedding
needs
that
to do
Christian ideal of self-sacrifice there.
that.
I can't drag and drop it
That's
into
all right,
the.
I'll deal with it. So, Theo, Dr. Dick. So, Dr. Dick is giving Theo the martyr card. And Theo is giving Dr. Dick the...
Hero card.
What card are you giving him in the return?
Hero 24.
Okay, so I will do the deletion. Actually, that one. And... my mouse is dying and the right mouse button keeps doing double clicks all the time.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
It's a nice mouse as well. He's done good. He's served well. Okay. Well, it would have helped if you put the right totals in, because I'm sure you didn't. Because there's no way you could have ended up with less than you originally had. Oh, no, you're
You've
getting
got 26.
You're better. You were doing well.
You-
You did do well.
Do you need
Don't you need 4 more?
the drama card?
No, he doesn't.
No,
need the
that'll be
drama
enough.
No,
That'll
I
be
think
enough.
it's good enough.
Miscalculated. It was
All right.
only 2 more you needed, so that's good enough. Okay, so you set off the detail. What you've basically done is you've very quickly remotely recorded what the cameras are looking at, a nice little 10-second cycle through, and your device, essentially, you leave it on the roof next to you, and it's now remotely communicating that to each of the cameras. So they're now showing basically the same thing over a loop. So you've overcome that. You don't need to go worry about the window sensors because you've already dealt with those. So it's now just the laser grid down on the floor.
Could I use the frequency scrambler on those to do it remotely?
The issue you've got is if you're interrupting the frequency, that's exactly what triggers them.
Oh, right.
But you've reduced it now. I mean, it was a very hard stealth test. to get down safely, not to trip things. Sam is, because you know where everything is, it's now making that favoured. You've knocked out the cameras, so it's now no longer a very hard test. It's just going to be a hard test, which is a 10.
Ooh, no, that won't work. It could work. I beg secure portals.
Portals are big enough to get one person.
That's not big enough then. I was thinking, if you put a portal in front of a laser beam and the portal on the other side of the laser beam, you could just walk down the middle because there'd be a big gap in between.
As Dirac is thinking, a skinny robot and a fat robot walk past.
What's
Have
that?
you not played
Oh,
Portal?
right, sorry. Portal, right, okay. I did play Portal, but I didn't think of the reference.
Somewhere in the depths of the museum, GLaDOS wakes up because he realizes someone's been talking about her.
Problem is, I think there's more than one laser.
There are. It's a laser grid. I mean, the point is
that's why
that if you are aware roughly where the laser grid is, so the stealth check is literally just a case of moving through the room cautiously and stepping over bits when you need to step over bits. Or if you want, you could use some of the rope you've got, possibly abseiling down to the hallway rather than climbing down and bypassing them that way. It's up to you. Come up with a solution and then roll accordingly.
Do we see anywhere down there that's like a big control room?
You can't see it from where you are, but if we assume that Sam is back by this point, he explains that yes, there's a short hallway between this exhibit and the one you need to get to, and halfway down that hallway there is a guard station, which that would be described as a control room.
How would we get from here to there without bypassing the traps, turn off the alarm system, and, win? I don't know. My character wouldn't know this stuff. I have to.
Well, he might
say
do,
this.
but you bits of explaining, you have to think of it in terms that he would know, which is okay. So there's a trap there. Okay, there's a trap over there. There's some guards. Just think of it in fantasy terms, and you can come up with.
Oh yeah. So basically, we need to pull the lever to turn the traps off. That's basically
or bypass the traps, or who decide who the rogue is and tell them to go and disarm it.
Yes, who's the rogue? We've got a wizard.
Yeah, you have got a wizard. I'm the wizard.
Priest, you got a priest.
I'm the warrior.
You got a cleric.
Yeah.
I think Abraham's the mad scientist. Sorry, the alchemist.
An alchemist. That's an accurate description. Yep. The only two that don't really, I suppose Ryoko could be a samurai because that's just a fighter type. The only one that really doesn't fit your D&D trope is Dr. Sanders.
He must be the rogue then.
Yeah, there's probably something there for him.
Sure, he's he only misses the chainsaw hand.
He's the villain usually in all these stories.
It's one of those NPC classes that are otherwise seen as useless because they're like scholar or aristocrat or something like that. Anyway, how are you overcoming the obstacle? You've overcome bits of it, but there's still one last bit to deal with.
Yeah, unless we could do something to deactivate it.
That's what I just said. Get into that room and turn it off.
Yeah, but we're going to have to bypass it before we can do that. So
pull the lever that doesn't say don't pull.
Yeah. That you can't read.
I don't think any of us do Italian.
Yeah, well, it's only there in hieroglyphs, so.
Yeah, it's only there in Italian or Venetian or whatever it is. Don't pull.
Don't pull.
It's got an A on the end.
Yeah, that's what it is. Non pullo.
Well, I think it's better one person does all this because I think the more dice rolls we do, the more chance we're going to fail.
Yeah, so who's the best at
it? You know who I think the best
dice roller? I think I got addressed.
I didn't say best dice roller. I said best person would be Ryoko.
Oh, okay.
You've even got an add in stealth.
You've got camouflage now, don't you?
No, I have I've taken the Caputo hood hat.
He's got the heads-up display on the inside of her faceplate. Well, you now realise that
What's it
Ryoko's
do?
got a faceplate. And eliminates 2 points of range penalties.
I was hoping for sinking all that stuff. Oh well, okay.
You can describe other stuff onto it as well if we need to. But anyway, what are you doing? Come on, stop prevaricating.
Right, so
Well, I should send Ryoko in there and get that room and kill everyone.
yep, send in Ryoko.
This is payback, Alex, for what you did to us.
What I did? What?
You made a certain person pull a lever.
All right. Now it's my turn.
I love how he takes
So
out
you're
the chain. He's like,
sending
oh, okay.
You're sending Ryoko down first or on her own?
On our
Okay.
own. Can you imagine me jumping through invisible wires and stuff?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going in.
What's the rules, John? What's the
It's
rules?
stealth.
What he
Go
has
ahead.
to do? Stealth.
It's been reduced from a very hard, which would have been a 16, down to a hard, which is a 10. Or challenging, which is a 10.
All right. I can do this. Dum 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 dum.
Ooh,
dum,
yay!
Okay, Kerry, noted. Is that now or in a bit?
In a bit.
Okay. Noted. So, Ryoko, you release a line. Somebody on the roof holds it for you. You climb down, maybe about 6 feet off the floor. You drop down into Caesar's lap. Review the area. Just gather some dust, throw it down so you momentarily see the laser grid. And you proceed to gracefully make your way.
Oh, I have a smoke pellet. Can I use that one?
You can indeed. So you
Okay.
throw a smoke pellet down. The entire floor is quickly wreathed in light grey mist, and then you can easily see every single one of the lasers. And looking
much-
back up to your companions at the top, you proceed to just gracefully step across until you're at the exit to the hallway.
How much easier would that make it to traverse the area?
A 6?
Well, okay, Dr. Dick will drop down then. If
Roll
it
your
stays.
stealth.
Stealth isn't that great. 9.
No, I'm just saying, roll your stuff then. Just drop down, slip, and fall. Alarm wheels go off, and we go, that's that plant stuck.
Yep. Dr. Dick makes his way and is at the corridor entrance along with Ryoko. Is anyone else taking advantage of the smoke to move down? Like I said, it is only DN6 now.
I suppose we all should then. Although I kind of suck at this kind of thing.
Is it worth somebody staying on the roof as like a lookout in case if we're expecting Dr. Mobius's
I'll
troops?
do that then because I'm really not the person to be sneaking anywhere.
How do we contact each other?
How do you contact each other? Have you gotten some kind of... I mean, Ryoko's probably got... Theo, Ryoko, and Dr. Sanders have got phones.
I've got a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've just not invited you lot to it.
Oh.
Or maybe they have, but it's the other way around. You've just been refusing to respond.
Yeah.
Your devices don't pick up the same WhatsApp bits.
It keeps
Yeah.
beeping at me. Throw it out the
Tech
window.
level will be too bad for me. I don't want it.
Exactly.
The 12 always sends inappropriate memes.
Well, the problem is actually the issue is whenever Ryoko gets in the WhatsApp group, it always makes a video go weird with lots of different icons floating around. And Theo's one constantly sends you like push notifications of prayer meetings and that sort of thing. So it's up to you whether you continue engaging with them or not.
Oh, definitely. I push psalms to you and all sorts that, like, helpful morals, stories for the day and things. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not in this group.
Oh, it's very, very good. You like it.
But I like
Yeah,
that. So the people who are engaged in the WhatsApp group, Ryoko, Theo, and Dr. Dick, you can have a possibility for
Yay.
embracing social media.
Woo. Oh,
We are social media
I
gurus.
suggested it.
You did, yes.
I know, unfortunately, sometimes the innovator isn't the one that takes the credit.
Aw.
So, Durak, you have decided not to go down.
Oh,
Theo,
yeah.
you've decided to stay at the top. Abram, you've decided to stay at the top.
Well, if Theo's staying up top, I'll go down as well.
So,
Then.
Sam, you can fly, so it's not a problem. You just maintain height above.
I only needed a
There's a
6.
possibility. Oh no, you needed.
No, I
Yeah,
only
you
needed
just
a
manage. Yeah, we reduce the possibility. So, Sam, you can ignore the lasers anyway because you just stay 3 feet off the floor.
Just me and Theo are top then?
Yep, you and Theo are at the top. So as you watch, they head away from the two of you, left alone on the top of the building. Where are you actually watching? Are you continuing to watch down the hole, or are you looking out to the environs of what else is in the museum's area?
Try to do both because I want to see if on the trap the wires vanish, and then I want to make sure we see if these trips arrive because they're probably going to arrive in something unique.
Okay, both of you on the roof then, please make me find checks. However, it is dark, so you are at -4.
Not me.
If you've got particular bits that enable you to deal with darkness conditions, then you can reduce them accordingly.
I'm trying to remember what my darkness one
Isn't
is.
it listed on your
Dark
sheet?
vision. The dark vision. So you said -6, so 4 points. I'm -2 then.
Okay.
So it reduces.
No, it's dark. It's not pitch black. So it's a -4, so you're at no modifier. However, Theo, you're at -4 because of the darkness.
Oh, okay. Am I rolling? I thought it was.
You're on top, so you
No,
should
this is find. This is find you're rolling to see things.
be doing your job.
Because you're at
Warning us.
lookout.
Oh, God damn it. I'm going to spend I'm going to spend my possibility on that because I just got one. No night, Sam. Sleep well. Take care. Stay safe.
Yeah,
Bye,
good
Gary.
night.
Right.
Right. Wait till Durak
Are you
rolls.
sure Sam's
Oh, he has
not a
to-
rogue because he's writing in rogue speak.
No, good to go. Good luck.
Oh crikey! So I need.
Die totals are 3, and whatever your skill is in the first one, with the minuses. Don't forget.
And that's off the die total with the minuses.
Yeah, or you can stick it in as a modifier. Either way, as long as it's included.
Okay, then I'll put my modifier in the modifier box.
Yep, that should all do it.
Come on! Oh.
It keeps rolling off the top of the page.
Yeah.
It does,
Damn
doesn't it?
I noticed that too.
Okay. So, Theo, what were you doing? Were you watching the room, or were you looking outside? Durak, likewise, just tell me which one of you was doing what.
I'm just looking outside because I think
I'm-
someone's going to come and. So go ahead, darling.
I was basically remember I said I was trying to do.
Trying to do both, which is why you probably failed because you
Yeah.
didn't go over a 10. Theo, you can't do anything about this because you spot it within a few seconds of what's about to happen, but you are able to take steps to be closer to the point because a few minutes after your companions go down, you hear the sound of boats. You quickly run across the roof of the museum to one of the sides which backs up onto one of the canals because you are in Venice, after all.
Can I ask you a
By the
question,
time,
John?
yeah, go for it.
I got a 9. He got a 7.
Why do I keep looking at the wrong thing? Okay, none of you saw anything. There we go. My bad. I keep forgetting. I'm looking. I saw the 14. Oh, spotted. Sorry, Theo. You're about to find out something. Let's say you both heard boats, but neither of you heard anything untoward. But you did hear boats, but you are in Venice. So boats, canals, Venice, you didn't think anything of it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
However, the three of you down below. Let's just throw a drama card up to represent the passage of time. I'm not going to make you another roll. You're still in a standard scene. You managed to sneak past the security office just by literally crouching down and going hand over hand on your feet. The Egyptian gallery isn't as expansive as the Roman one in which you entered, but it has similar artifacts on display. Sarcophagi, tools in display cases, and so on. Security cameras gaze down from the corners, but if there are lasers here, you can't see them. Just as you enter, you are stunned by a loud explosion which rocks the building. Theo and Durac, you do hear that. A cloud of
Even
dust
we hear it.
erupts. Yeah, even you hear it. A cloud of dust erupts from the far end of the chamber, and in pour half a dozen or more Nile shock troopers. Striding among them is someone who you first take to be a shock trooper commander, but a mask covers his face. And he has a brown leather jerkin covering his torso.
My vision got better, guys. My vision got better. I can see through walls.
He stabs a finger towards you, screams, "Stop them!" Hopefully that was a shrill voice.
That was a shrill voice.
That really hurt my throat. I'll have to do it more. And the shock troops deploy into defensive positions at their end of the room as their leader, whoever he is, begins to look around. We're in combat rounds. It's a standard scene.
Is he
You
complicated
guys
much?
are going first. Heroes have a flurry, taunt and trick are the approved actions. One thing that the explosion does do is alarms are now ringing. There are a series of chung, chung, chung metal noises as bars slam down over the windows, and there's a loud chung from behind you as the entryway you've just come through, a security barrier drops down behind you.
Well, so much for being stealthy.
Yeah, well, that's at least we haven't got worried about that now.
They're flurry, aren't they? We're in standard.
You are in standard, so you guys are going first. So let's deal with the people in the room. I said you've got about half a dozen or so, maybe a few more Nile shock troopers. In fact, actually no, there's a dozen. There's a round dozen. They have aligned themselves in such a way that they've got cover from you, but they have pulled out their pistols and rifles, and they do appear to be taking aim at the three of you who are basically now just stood in the wide open area with a closed off corridor behind you. What are you each doing?
Doing the ones in the room first, so it's only on 3.
Ooh, trick. Gotta find a way to trick them.
There's a three-headed squirrel behind you. Oh, I just get
Cats.
the
They're
gun
scared of
out.
cats.
Okay, so you're pulling out your SMG, and I assume you're not just pulling out your SMG.
Is there
You
any
can-
cover?
You can. I mean, you've got various different archaeological or important historical artifacts scattered throughout the room. As it's an Egyptology exhibit, there are quite a few that appear to be made of relatively robust stone. And yes, you could get a distinct amount of cover by hiding behind one.
Or could I rush them and engage them in melee?
You could certainly engage a few of them in melee if you rushed forward, yeah.
Yeah, let me try the trick. The trick is some first.
You've got about a dozen shock troops in front of you.
Oh, right, because we've read
I'll bless everyone, I guess. Bless.
Well, you're not there at the moment, so you'll be blessing
sorry.
yourself and Durak. But that's still worthwhile doing.
Might be worth you texting us, telling us that I think we heard somebody arrive.
We heard an explosion, but Ryoka would receive it. Dr. Dick might not be paying attention to his phone. In fact, Dr. Dick's phone probably doesn't work. He's probably like cannibalized it into a weird science device. He doesn't receive text messages anymore. It just makes fart noises or something.
Yeah, I'll also try to find some cover, I guess.
Okay, you can find cover with a move. That's not a problem.
I wanted to actually decide to go. That'd be great. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, Ryoko was, but then Dr. Dick butted in, so I don't know if Dr. Dick's going.
There's a tricking.
I'm
waiting.
Come on, Dr. Dick.
Sure.
If you want, you can do a boring, I can't work out what I'm doing trick, and you'll just be taking people out if you can, but it will be at a -2 penalty for not being creative.
No, I've got some kind of idea, which is like to throw something like a grenade, but that looks magical, and that's just gonna like freak him out. But I don't know what would. I don't know. I don't want to just grab something. Or maybe I do.
You grab something, you throw it, you roll trick. That's what's going to happen. Just for full clarity, I now have a stack of 12 group possibilities in front of me. You are the guy with the full cover face mask, has 3 of his own, and scattered throughout the group, because you are now getting more powerful, are individuals within Mobius's army who are also reality rated. So 3 of the shock troops have a possibility apiece.
Oh,
a nice stack of little poker
I didn't declare how many I was targeting. I'll be targeting.
So we'll assume 1.
Well, if you say so.
Okay.
I was going to think more, but that's fine.
I know, but it's negative reinforcement. Don't forget next time.
Yeah, 15.
What are you doing? Are you trying to do the boss, or are you trying to do one of the minions?
What's the boss's trick?
The boss's trick is a 13. The minions' trick are 8s.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do a minion now, and then I'll try the boss later. If you do the same thing, like, do you get an extra card if it's a flurry action and you do an improve action twice?
At the moment, there's some concern among the community as to whether it is. Some people say no, some people say yes. The people that say no say it's because it's 1 turn. A flurry is, in theory, 2 whole turns. So in theory, you could get 2 cards. I'm on that because I like you having cards. It gives you more things to do. But it's a villain flurry this round anyway.
Oh, crap. I thought it was us.
No. So you got a 15. That's enough to make the one you're going for very vulnerable or very stymied or vulnerable and stymied. And pick a number from 1 to 12.
7.
Okay. So
very
you're going after. So stymied. Cool. Have a card. Adrenaline. Okay, Ryoko, Abram, who's going next?
I want to throw a potion, a thunder brew at them.
Okay. I'll just say you can hit 3 because of the way they're spread out. So just
Yep.
pick 3 numbers from 1 to 12 as your targets.
Which one did Dr. Dick pick?
He went for 7.
I'll go 1, 2, 3. Just so it's.
Okay.
So I throw it, don't I? Have to do
You do. I think
missile?
Yeah, missile. I think it's your difficulty 10 as a standard because it's an AOE. It's not necessarily by their dodge. And I believe they make a strength check now,
Yes.
which is going to be off of 8.
Is there a battle map? Because I didn't get to
No,
watch
there isn't one at the moment. It's all
Okay.
within the mind at this point.
All right.
Who's Dr. Dick pick? So he got an 8, he got a 9, and he got a 2. So that means they're KO'd. Yep.
Yep. 3 are code.
Okay. There is a large explosion off to the left, and when the smoke clears, there are 3 unconscious shock troops lying on the floor.
Can I then use my maneuver, movement, to just duck behind some sort of
Yeah, no problem.
artifact? Or
You can gain some
pillar.
cover. Your cover is giving each of you who decides to seek cover +2 toughness versus any attacks that come off of you. Which incidentally they would get as well, but not versus an AoE Thunderwave. Ryoko. You pulled out your gun.
Yeah, I
click
pull out the gun
back, and
I go for.
run up and go up with the katana.
Yeah, so I get a +2 now from the hut.
From the HUD. Yeah, if you're trying to get range penalties out. Yeah.
Yeah, but also I could use now multi-target.
If you want to, yeah.
So that's like if multi-target is -2 for each extra target affected.
Mm-hmm.
So I could with the +2, I
You
would
could
hit
essentially target 2 people at no minus.
Yeah, well, the first one gets a +2 because it only says for each extra target.
No, but it's a total.
Okay, for each
one roll.
Okay. So it zeroes out, and I can hit 2 people.
Yep, you could target 2 people at no penalty at that
And
point.
can I go for a short burst for both?
Yeah, it uses up the ammo each
Yeah,
time.
it's 6 rounds.
6 bullets rather than 3.
Okay,
yeah.
so it's actually a +2 of the short burst,
Yep.
6 bullets, 2
Their
target.
dodge skill is an 8. Their toughness is up because they are behind cover as well, so they've got toughness 10 versus this at this point.
Let's see.
Oh, actually, it doesn't matter. Make the roll anyway. Pick 2 from 4 to 12.
Okay. 7 and 12. 12 you said.
7 and 12. Okay. So that is a 19 versus their dodges of 8. So that is an outstanding success. So you can roll 2 extra bonus die.
All right. So that's 5. It's 18.
18 versus their toughness of 10 is going to be 1 wound and 2 shock, which is enough to take out number 7. However, number 12 is one of the individuals with a reality rating. So he is going to attempt to soak to prevent himself from being taken out. His reality skill is a 9. So he needs to get a 10 or more. He soaks. But you've taken one of them down. Cool.
No, he sucks.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the roof, you can get a rough idea of what direction the explosion came from. It is obviously off to your west or the left. You can see dust coming up.
I'll head across the roof towards that explosion because I want to get them from the rear.
The roof isn't a flat expanse. It is a classic Venetian architecture. So it has architraves, floaty bits, spikes, angled roof elements. So you need to generate a dex total of at least 10 to move your normal move. Okay.
Possibility time.
So you're on a 2 at the moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out what my. You said it's my dex, so it's a straight dex. Then?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's terrible. My dex is not great. Right, okay, here we go.
You make some progress, but it's going to take you 2 full moves to get there. You've managed to do half of a full move with a fail. So basically, you rush in that direction, and you suddenly find yourself surrounded by on 2 sides by walls that are just like sheer up in front of you and are just too high for you to climb. So you have to double back, head around. You've made some progress, but you're a little bit further back than you would have hoped. Father Theo, you've got the same situation with the architecture on the roof preventing you from having a direct line. So if you want to head in that direction, it will require the same dex roll or something appropriate to vault, parkour, or otherwise move your way stylishly across the Venetian skyline.
Dodge? No, maneuver, isn't it? I guess. Okay, you're right. Dex it is.
There's dex on this one, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Right. I'll spend a possibility because I kind of suck.
On a fail, you are going to be the same as Durac. You will have made half of one progression to get there. Can I play Welcome to Our World on the Masked Singer? If you want to.
He has to do an impossible reality roll or disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that.
Seriously, I thought you were talking about the TV show. I was going to say, why is he going to start singing a song?
Yeah, so play on a reality-rated foe. That target must make an immediate, near impossible DN20 reality skill. So you followed the same route as Durac, okay?
You guys suck on the roof. Can't see anything. Can't get over walls.
So
Jesus.
as the masked figure begins to search through, he does stumble briefly. As it would appear, he has some kind of metaphysical crisis when confronted with this world's Egyptian detail. And there's some kind of, as I said, a disconnect because it doesn't match what he thinks. But it means he gets to make a reality skill check. Now, his reality skill, his spirit is 11. He has 3 adds in reality, so he has a 14. So /TORG.
Must suck to be him then.
Oh, don't roll a decent roll. Yes.
He is going to use one of his possibilities.
Oh.
/TORG, and that will be
So automatically put him over.
You can only use one, so it's
14.
What's he need? He needs 20, doesn't he?
Is it 12, I think? Yeah, because the die total was 12.
God. Roll crap.
No,
it exploded.
explosion.
No.
However, his brief confusion seems to pass. You fool! No one can outwit the hooded cobra! And he continues. He begins to ransack his way through what look like priceless exhibits, pushing things off to one side. An urn crashes and crunches on the ground, but that's what he's doing.
Can I use Master Plan to pick up a Cosm card? Just
No.
played.
It's only Destiny cards that you can use
Darn
Master Plan for, unfortunately.
I thought I was going to have 2 chances at it.
Well, you can use it for one. I'm going to do.
And what he actually does, you fool, no one can outwit the hooded cobra, is actually a taunt, because he has the gloater perk. So while he is searching, when taunt or intimidation are approved action, hooded cobra may affect the entire party without a multi-target penalty. So he is going to do that right now. So he has a taunt of 11. This will be applied equally to Ryoko, Dr. Sanders and Abram. That doesn't work because I wrote /taunt 11, not /torg 11.
What happened to the fourth person? Did he fly away?
I'm going to spend a group possibility for him, so he doesn't use one of his own ones. So that would be /8. Okay, that's slightly better.
Do you lose group possibilities as we take out your minions, or
No, it's just a pull,
That's
but
it.
the pull doesn't refresh until your
Oh.
own pulls refresh as well. So, actually, no, I'm going to use one of. I'm going to transfer. That's one of his personal possibilities. It's not good form at this level to use group possibility for someone who is possibility rated. Okay, Ryoko, what's your charisma or taunt if you have it?
oh crap!
Oh, I have taunt. Yeah, 0.
What is what's the skill total?
It's just charisma. 6.
Right. So that is an outstanding success. He is going to make you very stymied. No, he's going to make you very vulnerable, actually. He's going to make you very vulnerable, and until the end of your next go, you are disfavored. Something about this guy's shrill speech, the arrogance behind his tone, it really gets under your skin. And I suspect it's going to get under the skin of everyone else as well. Dr. Sanders, what is your defensive taunt?
Sorry, I forgot to push the top 6.
So again, you are also very vulnerable, as again, it just enrages you and you poke your head out of cover. Abram, what is yours?
A surprising 6.
Okay, exactly the same. You are also, so you are each very vulnerable.
Anybody spot the dump stat?
However,
that we've chosen.
John, can I use the unflinching to get rid of vulnerable?
possibly, if that's what it's supposed to do. True samurai puts a mission first, even above her own personal safety, pushes the body to the limits. An unflinching samurai may eliminate one or more levels of stymied or vulnerable by taking 1 shock per condition removed. So you could take 2 shock to eliminate very vulnerable.
Done.
However, it doesn't stop the other effect of Gloater. Ryoko, discard a card
Oh,
from your
crap.
pool at random. You only have one.
One.
Lose the drama card.
Oh, forgot
Can
this.
somebody please roll me a d6? On an odd number, Dr. Sanders loses his coup de grace. On an even number, he loses his inspire.
And
Inspire.
there, my fucking plan just went out the window.
And Abram, you lose your master plan.
Yeah. Damn it.
You should have used it.
And nobody's
We would
playing
have
with
gone out the
them.
window anyway.
And
That was
then
a joke.
the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 remaining shock troops open fire. Each of you roll a d6. The person who gets the highest is the person who's only being attacked by 2.
Oh, it's not there. Sorry.
So,
Well,
don't ignore
yeah,
me.
what are you
I'm
doing?
excited. I'm getting excited.
He's trying to be. He's in the sacrificial lamb. He's doing the job.
You're just desperate to be there.
He's jumping in the way. He's taking the bullets. He wants to use that mark card.
2 of them.
So Ryoko is only being attacked by 2. So they each have a fire combat of 8. We are doing group, so 3 of them give a +2 bonus. So Dr. Sanders first. You are being attacked by a fire combat of 10. They only got a 2. What is your dodge? -4.
-4,
What gun are you using?
7.
They're only using single action rifles. Yeah, they're going to send a group possibility. /torg, and that will be their skill of 10 P2. Not TORG, TORG.
Tractor.
So what did you have? 7, did you say?
I had -4, 7.
Then that's it's still only a good success. So bullets rip through the area. Oh, they get a reroll.
Oh.
5. That's an 8. They are using their MP40s, but they're not doing burst at this point in time. So that's an 8 onto a 13. That's a 21 versus your toughness. But remember, you are getting +2 from having cover.
I'll
In fact,
be
you might be getting you were describing yourself really back, and you're getting the vulnerable. You're getting a +4 from your cover. So what's your total toughness with a 4?
Oh, that would be 13.
13. That's an 8, 1 wound and 2 shock.
I think I'm gonna try to soak that.
Okay, go ahead. Spend the possibility. Make your reality skill check. Difficulty is 10s.
Has the card to ignore a wound and shock.
Remember who's got that card?
Okay,
Oh,
you
you did it.
soak. Abram, same
Yes.
to you guys. What's your dodge?
Oh.
-4.
Is anyone
10.
low on possibilities?
Well, Durak and Theo are a bit at the top, but everyone's got at least 3 apart from those guys. So what was your dodge, Abram?
10.
And so they're not doing any bonus damage to you, so that's 13 versus your toughness. Including,
Which is
I
12.
mean, you were firing, so you've not got full cover, so that's going to be a +2 to your toughness.
I was throwing, not firing.
Same
But
thing,
yes,
yeah.
12
So-
in
So
total.
2 shock.
2 shock, take that.
And Ryoko, you're against a 9. What's your dodge -4?
9.
They just hit you. Toughness damage 13 versus your toughness.
14.
So you take 1 shock. And then they get another go.
What?
Because it's a flurry.
Whoop. Flurry.
Do. That one.
Pity no one had the card that switches them out and stuff.
Just want to double check this
The
guy.
card to swap the
Durak and Theo, are you down?
line, don't
Are you out with
We're on
possibilities?
the roof. No, we're
They're on the
fine.
roof.
We've both
Ah,
got
okay,
2.
down the road.
Are any of you clustered? So the 3 of you, are you all on one side, spread out? You decide.
Guess I'm spread out.
Probably spread it. Yeah.
It's spread out. We're very
Right.
individualistic.
Okay, Dr. Dick was the one that wound him up most. So while searching, and you see him.
All right, he does that to most.
Hmm?
He does that to most of us.
Yeah. While doing the searching, the hooded cobra sees you cowering, and he screams out, "Cowardly fools!" and just raises this pistol and fires, and just lightning just bursts out of the end of his gun. It's actually a small blast as well, so it's only versus DN10, whatever your dodge is.
It is outside the tech level of the zone.
Oh yeah, it's a disconnect potential on a 1.
Just 11.
Oh, it doesn't matter because it's versus a 10.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
It's an area of effect. Okay, so that's 1 bonus die. Does he have? He doesn't have that one. So that is 17 damage to your toughness. He's still. Oh no, actually more than that actually, because you're not vulnerable. So 17 versus your toughness.
9.
So that's 1 wound and 2 shock.
Should I soak that one too?
And while you're doing that, all
Yeah.
3 of you again roll 1d6. Again, the highest is the one that's only getting attacked by 2.
Woo.
Looks like Abram might only be getting attacked by 2 unless there's a roll off. There's a roll off.
Oh, how
let's go for it.
exciting.
Oh,
Ooh.
good reality. Good Stoke roll.
Nice.
Okay, now roll a d6 to see if you're lucky. If you get a 6, then it's a roll off. If not,
Didn't it-
you're getting attacked by 3.
I keep rolling d6 and they don't register for some reason.
It's a roll off. All
It's
three of
not
you
a
roll
roll.
again. In the second round, Dr. Dick leads with a 4, but Ryoko pulls it out with a 6. Okay, so versus Dr. Dick. Shots from the shock troopers don't get to you. For Abram, 15 versus your still reduced dodge.
14.
Is that your reduced dodge?
Sorry, 10 reduced.
So
reduced,
that's
yep,
one
10.
bonus die. So 13 plus a bonus die. Nope, if I get the right thing. 16 versus your toughness.
Still plus 2.
Yeah, because you still got cover.
12.
So 4, 2 shock, just under, away from being a wound. And Ryoko, as they've switched opponents, I don't suppose a 5 hits you.
No.
Round 2. Oh no. Villains are going first. Heroes have a surge. The hooded cobra rushes over to the other side, breaks open a new display case, grabs what looks like a small canopic jar from a selection of 3 of them, and with his free hand, he does have 2 pistols, he's only got 1 out, he pulls the jar into his chest and he's looking around for a route of exit.
Are you
And
there?
then the shock troops fire.
Are you there, Theo?
I mean, what?
You've got
Sorry,
a card to swap lines.
What?
Got a card that can. You've got a card. I've been told that you can swap the lines.
Oh, sorry, I have seize the day. Yeah. We need that, do we? Okay, sorry. Yeah, seize the day. I will seize the day then. At least I'm doing something useful up here on the roof.
Nice if he'd given us, would have been nice if he gave us a flurry last time, but you know.
Yeah. So they have, because you've got so many possibility rated people on the other side, they have to do the search.
New drama card is swap the conflict lines for the heroes and villains, including initiative.
We go first.
Yeah, so you.
They have surge.
Right. Yes.
Hey.
Okay. So he hasn't done that yet. So discard that.
I just got a glimpse of.
You got a glimpse of what might be about to happen. But you guys go first. Please go ahead.
Decent with intimidation.
You weaken his defenses then, and we'll try and
Right.
pound on him.
His dodge is 13. His intimidation is 12. His melee weapons is 13. His taunt is 11. His trick is 13. His unarmed combat is 13.
Is it dodge 13?
His dodge is 13.
Oh, that's nice.
Motherfucker, shoot this guy.
Try and make his. Does the dice roll thing, you know, that Simede, etc., does that work on searches, reality checks?
No, because a reality check for surge, it's not a reality check, it's just a d20 roll.
Oh, okay. Go, sorry. I was just asking a question. It's fine. Finished.
Are you tricking him, Dr. Dick?
You forgot the person's push the talk button.
Yeah, I might do. What
If I try shooting them, Ryoko charges in.
What if I shoot one of the jars? Just to see, like, I don't know, maybe that will freak him out. Maybe he'll be like, what? Where I shot the one that he's trying to get or something.
The problem is the jars are still inside the boxes.
Oh.
Yeah, truly speaking, he hasn't gone for the jars yet because you switched the initiative. But he's heading towards a display case.
I mean, what's a good trick? I mean, I could just do the lazy laser pointer in the eye again.
Pretend you found it. What he's looking for.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. And he was, yep. I found it. I found the eye of Sobek. Step into this one. It looks like an eye. It looks like a crocodile eye. I've seen them. I've seen them in all the books.
Okay, roll your trick. You can have a +2 to that because it's thematically accurate and it's designed to attract his attention.
Instead of
How much you
two
said?
people,
He's +2.
Yes, 12 people after him rather than the normal whatever.
Would you want to make him vulnerable or very vulnerable or stymied or very stymied? Because you've got a good success.
I'm gonna say very vulnerable.
Okay.
Does that make it easier for us to hit?
It makes it
Yes.
easier for you to affect him, yes.
Yeah.
So come on, who's next?
I'll shoot him then before hopefully Ryoko charges in and finishes.
Okay. Difficulty
Thank
then
you.
are
One of his-
9s at the moment.
9. Right. Fire. I will. Is it got armor?
He's wearing some armor. You see leather armor on his torso.
I'll use me.
He is wearing a mask as well.
Yeah, because we were told that these masks give armor, but I can't remember if that was just out of character or in game. We were
You've
told.
not experienced that just yet.
Okay, I'll try the adamant shell.
Mask
So
only
you're
got
not in the
armor.
Null Empire.
Yeah.
So
Only the-
All right.
But I think it gives him bonus until he
What
feels
was
his
it? 9.
You're one off an outstanding success.
Definitely possibility in that TT.
He counters. Oh, he can't. Sorry, that's old Torg. Sorry. In old
Yeah.
Torg, anybody can
Yeah,
spend to counter, but you need a feat in Torg Eternity to do that. My bad.
Well, just your real
Cheat you
checking
are.
well.
That's enough to be an outstanding success. Your adamant shells are doing what?
They do 20 damage, armor piercing 4.
So that means his toughness is 9. That's 2 wounds and 4 shock. He will
Bit
soak.
of a
At least he'll try to soak.
yeah, possibility of something else.
Pardon?
But yeah, we had 3 possibilities,
Yep.
didn't he? We got rid of one with his reality skill. Oh
He's
no.
going to spend
Damn
a
it.
group possibility.
Couldn't it
Soak
be?
that a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Yep.
Oh,
Doesn't matter because it's on the thing. So yeah, he soaks, but well done. He looks at you incredulously as the bullet comes dangerously close to grazing one of his shoulders. Ryoko, what are you doing?
How many are left?
Well, there's him and 8 shock troopers.
3 are unconscious and
That's
Yeah,
not including the 3
Just
unconscious ones.
I'm charging the sword.
Charging who?
The guy that the shrieky.
Okay, radio.
Let's kill him.
the hooded cobra.
The
he
hooded
calls
cobra,
himself.
exactly.
Cobra Kai. All right.
So your melee weapons is a 9 because of his current vulnerable status, thanks to the trick.
9. Okay. So I add up 4.
So that's an outstanding success. So you roll 2 extra.
That's 9.
Onto your damage, and you've got armor piercing on that, I believe.
22 armor piercing 2, and I can also use a shock for another 2 damage with Kai Strike.
22 minus 9 is 13. If you spent the shock, that would add 2, making it a 15 damage, which would be 3 wounds, 6 shock.
Yeah.
Which he will attempt to soak. So group possibility to activate the soak, which he's reduced it by 1 wound and all the shock. So he'll take 2. He'll take 2 wounds. He'll take 2 wounds. Well done. Meanwhile, on the roof, so each of you are currently, let's say you need to get 4 steps. You're currently 1 step, but a success gives you 2 steps. A good success would give you 3 steps, which would put you at the edge of the roof where you need to be. You're 2 points away from a good success at the moment, Durak. Don't forget, anyone else that's taking an action, you can put cards from your hand into your pool.
I will accept this standing on the edge ready for the next turn.
Okay.
To jump down. Because I'm putting a card in, it'll help me next go.
Do I get a roll yet? Here it comes.
Yeah, roll your deck.
Oh, rolled off a 10.
We did 2 wounds, guys.
Yay! Did he soak it or
He
not?
soaked the 3rd wound.
Oh, so he did 3 wounds and he soaked 1 of them. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well done.
You're 1 short, mister.
I'm 1 short.
Yeah, 1 short of getting. Well, you'll go 2 steps, putting you at step 3 along with Durak.
Yeah, I've spent loads of possibilities already. Have I got? Does anyone want? No.
Ryoko's got a card that can refresh everyone's possibilities, by the way.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The law of hope.
So don't worry too much about your possibilities.
Right, I'm going to play my
It
martyr card as a possibility. Can I do that?
You're going to trade it in and get a possibility instead, yeah, and you get a different card as well,
Yeah,
as long as it's
yeah.
already in your pool, yeah?
Yep.
John, does the law of hope
Oh.
only work
It's
if people are there?
No, it would be for the scene.
All right.
Because it isn't necessarily you doing it, it's the reality of Core Earth reacting and re-inspiring people.
Okay, just cry out if you need possibilities. I can refresh all of yours.
So that willpower goes into your pool skill, and then you can.
Oh, so I should have had. Oh, well. Oh, I didn't put the card in my pool.
That's all right. Won't worry about it for now. You probably forgot to transfer 1 last round anyway.
Okay,
Most
I didn't
people do.
realise
Just
that
assume it's
I
there.
was.
That's okay. But you've got that in your pool, but you're not going to be spending it because you need. It's deck, so willpower wouldn't affect it. But you were getting an extra possibility to spend, I'm assuming, yeah?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So my dice total at the moment is 9, isn't it? So it'll be 9.
Die totals are 12.
What?
If you look at the die totals are 12. So
Your
it's
action
giving you
total.
a 9 action total, but your die is currently a 12.
It's the reverse of the other one we did.
So skill in the first one, 12 in the second one.
Yay, that's nailed it.
Yeah,
Your dice is rolling off the screen.
it does keep rolling off the top of the screen. Skellen, Theo runs to the edge. You can see where the wall has been blasted apart. Luckily, the roof is still relatively in good shape. You look down, you can see that there is, on this side of the museum, maybe about 10, 15 feet away from the hole in the wall, there's stone steps of a quay leading down to the canal, and you can see within the canal there are a handful of boats, 2 of which currently have their motors running, and there are Nile Empire clad shock troops waiting in the boats. Okay, you can do something to the next round because that was your action to move across because it's quite difficult. Durak, you're a little bit further back, but you'll get there whatever you do next round.
I was on the edge a minute ago.
Villains go. They all test for a surge. So let me just go. Is it? I don't want to do a TORG roll. What's the command just to roll a d20? /roll d20.
/R, yeah, or /R d20, I think, or /roll probably does it as well.
There we go. So I need to do the stats for him. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Is anything below
Oh,
10
no
fails?
cigar.
Isn't it?
No, it's a 1 on the
Oh, one.
surge.
Oh, drat.
Okay, hang on. I've lost count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 more.
One of them's got to be a surge.
I thought.
Oh, close. That one almost rolled off a 7 onto a 1.
Wow. But at least we didn't have to roll.
There are only 8 of them left.
Well, I rolled for the unconscious
3
ones as well.
unconscious.
Okay.
2 seconds.
Damn, I think looks like they could maybe getting away with it this time.
Yeah.
Unless
But I would
they
hate to
can
be the guy that
remember
says,
it.
I have the eye, and everyone's awake there with guns. Sure, nothing bad will ever happen with that.
Well, the first thing
Well,
that
I mean-
happens is that he does shout out a shrill command of, "Shoot the grey-haired one!" And all of the remaining shock troops train their guns and short burst Dr. Sanders.
Ow.
So that's 8,
Ah.
giving them a +5. They're doing a short burst, giving them a +7.
You're not very
Limited
vulnerable anymore, though. So.
Their fire combat is a. Hang on, it's not the Hooded Cobra. Don't use the right stats. Move that out of the way. The fire combat is a 15.
Hope we all roll a 1.
Guys,
Oh,
you
that'd be
know,
good.
guys, you know what it means. John is telling us we're playing the enemy within next week.
Okay, what is your dodge without a -4? Because you are no longer very vulnerable.
11.
So that is an outstanding success. So they don't need to do anything else to make that better because that's 2 additional dice. Luckily for you, Nile Empire shock troops don't have any particular skills that make them very good at ganging up on people. So that's a 20 versus your toughness.
Of 9.
So that's 11. That's 2 wounds and 4 shock.
It's not, but you're behind cover, so you have to
Add 2 to that.
Yep.
So 1
Well,
wound.
that makes it 13. So. Still going to try to soak that.
Can't you use your card? You've got isn't your COSM card to ignore damage and wounds and shock from an attack?
Oh, yeah, it does. Oh, I misread. I thought it meant like negating penalties. That makes it much better. Okay, I'm going to play that.
Okay, then a lucky break. You duck down and you can see the hail of bullets coming towards you clearly, but there's some hardened plexiglass between you, and that was the bit they were firing at, and there's just scattering of bullets reflecting off of this, and it does make it hard to see through, but you're as you manage to get through that one. And he then goes, "Idiots! Fools! It's there!" And he smashes the cabinet he was going for, grabs the canopic jar that he was going to grab at the beginning, huddles it in, and turns to, obviously he's now heading out. But he's not out yet. We go to the 3rd combat round.
Wasn't he engaged with Ryoko?
Yes, but he hasn't moved yet. Now, what am I doing supporter? That's wrong. I'll turn that supporter card back. I pushed the wrong button. Supporter card, go back in the list. Thank you. And the drama deck is The Battle is Mine. Heroes go first, villains are setback, approved actions are defend and trick.
So does he have the eye, did you say?
Sorry?
Or is he just, has he got the
He's
eye?
grabbed a canopic jar out of a display of about 4. The Hooded Cobra proceeds to turn. He shoots his electro ray behind him as he turns. Ryoko, Dr. Dick, and Abram, roll 1d6. Whoever gets the lowest odd number is being targeted.
Oh.
Go,
Dr.
Go on,
Dick.
Dr. Dick.
Rather than roll.
Oh. I refuse to join
He
in.
rolled a 4.
Yeah, I rolled the forward somehow.
Abraham, get it.
I rolled it for you.
I refuse to play your game
The
anymore.
electro ray is being fired at Abram.
Yeah, whatever.
Yay?
You could have
That's
obviously planned
16 versus a 10. I'm going to spend one of the group possibilities because he's feeling mean as he leaves.
of here, I guess.
My dodge is 16,
It's an
not
AoE,
10.
so-
It's 14. Oh.
I suppose it could still apply because you might jump out of the way. What was your dodge?
Oh. Said 14. Do I get +2 because I'm behind cover?
No, that would be to your toughness. So
Okay.
the electro ray is doing
14.
2 bonus die of damage. No, that's 3.
It's all good.
That's 3. Go away. Only want 2 of those. Come back, dice. All is forgiven. That is 22 damage, electricity. It's an electro ray.
What was your toughness with your +2?
Nice. 12.
Dangerous when wet. Just double checking anything there. Doesn't have rapid fire. Doesn't have shots. He has small blast radius and damage bonus. What was your toughness? Sorry.
12.
So 2 wounds, 4 shock.
I'll attempt to possibility that's reality.
It is, yeah. If
Come
you get
on.
at least a 10,
Oh, I rolled up.
1 wound, 4
Oof.
shock. So you take a wound.
Um,
Unless you spend
go on,
enough
I'll possibility. Yeah.
to prove you're wrong.
As Ryoko can refresh them, I'll spend another.
These wounds you get -1.
What did I get? 9. What's my reality? 4 plus spirit, 12. Come on. Come on. Is that good enough?
Oh, you needed a 15 to get rid of 2 wounds and 4 shock, and 2
Yay.
wounds and 4 shock. So you soak. He proceeds then to run out back through the hole. Theo, from outside, you see him come out. You also see 3 of the shock troopers that were with him in the museum peel away and head out. He did disengage from Ryoko, which does make him vulnerable as a result of disengaging. So he's not very vulnerable this round, but he is vulnerable. He is flanked by 3 shock troops. It's not your go just yet, but you'll do that in a minute. He's flanked by 3 shock troops outside. The remaining ones, 2 apiece, each are firing at their targets. So, Ryoko, you are being targeted with a fire combat of 9. What's your dodge? Doesn't matter, they're rolled a 3. Dr. Sanders, what's your dodge?
11.
Doesn't matter, they're rolled a 4. Abram, what's your dodge? See if they can do a bit better. Oh, they might do actually.
14.
So that's 1 bonus die. So they're doing 13 damage, no armor piercing.
No, it's not. They rolled a 15.
I keep doing that wrong. I keep looking at the bottom one. Okay, no bonus die, 13. Pick me up on that whenever I do that. I'll get used to it.
Yeah.
So 13 versus your toughness.
12.
So 2 shock.
2 shock. Take that as well. Darn it.
Okay. Your setback, Theo, and Durak to a lesser degree as you're a little bit further back, as you watch from around a corner between the buildings, another, what looked like a speedboat comes through with 5 shock troops within it. So at the moment, you've got a speedboat with 5 that's pulling up. There are 2 speedboats waiting at the quay, each one with a shock trooper driving it, and clearly those are the boats that the Hooded Cobra and his minions are heading towards. It's your go as the heroes.
I want to shoot him.
You want to what, sorry?
Shoot him. The vulnerable dude.
Was trick approved?
It was, yes.
Yes,
Defend
trick,
was
yeah.
approved.
Could we get Sam to open a portal in front of him as he runs?
Yeah, you'd have to get
So he runs straight through the
You'd have to
portal.
get an outstanding success though to do that because he's a possibility rated character, not a mook. So it's like you would be doing because otherwise you would just jink around it and get away. It might make him vulnerable or stymied, but it wouldn't necessarily get the exact result you want on
Are
a
you sure-
possibility-related
Are
foe.
you sure Portal works that way? I thought it only allowed from him to somewhere else. I don't think you can bring other people.
No, but
Who
the
are-
idea is he'd put the portal next to him in the museum.
Yeah.
So if it worked, it would.
To bring him back into the museum with us.
Or you would have to drag him though. I think there's something to do with the spell that you can't bring anyone unwilling through though, like run into it. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. I can't remember. I remember someone mentioning.
But you can do multi-actions and drag people through and that sort of thing. But again, with an outstanding success, it's the sort of thing you'd allow narratively.
Okay. Who wants to do that then?
But I'm not going to let an absent player's character do such a pivotal thing for the plot. Let's have to be here for that.
You
Right,
just
someone
want
phone up Kerry and say, get out of
lose.
your bed and get down that computer.
It's not over yet. Don't worry.
Yeah. We're all going to refuse to play tonight, so we have to continue next week, and Sam can do it.
It's perfectly fine if you want to do
There.
that. Not a problem.
Dr. Dick, do
We
your
can round out
trick
this
so that
combat
means
round,
that,
Right.
do your trick so Theo can actually hurt it.
Yeah, be yours.
All right. So my trick is just that I'm gonna grab another of the jars in anger and just sort of throw it in his general direction and hope it does something.
Okay,
I'm just-
fine. Yeah, go for it. He is going to defend trick by spending a possibility and generate a bonus number.
You can
That's
defend
a
the trick.
17.
Oh,
You can do a defense. 17.
Oh,
That is going to give him a bonus number of bonus chart. That's a 4 onto his trick, making his defensive trick a 17. So you've just done enough. Do you want to make him vulnerable or stymied? If you make him vulnerable, that will stack with his existing vulnerable to make him very vulnerable.
I'm gonna spend a possibility.
Ooh. Okay. So you want to make him very vulnerable, potentially stymied, and disfavored if you manage to get an outstanding success. It will require a 27 to get an outstanding success, though.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't run down steps with a mask on. You probably just trip over your feet. You know, the dice roll looks like brilliant, and then it does that.
Okay, that's a good. That's a good. So you're not going to make him disfavored, but you can upgrade him to very stymied, or make him very vulnerable and stymied. What do you want to do?
Has anyone got any cards?
Not in my pool. Coup de grace, I've got. That's it. In my pool.
I don't have a
I've got an
mind
action
card.
in my hand, but I don't think that'll help you. Unless you have something that will allow you to play from your hand.
Nope. Damn, so.
Does anyone have a hero or drama card in their pool?
Or willpower or action.
Support
Or
of willpower.
willpower
I've got
action.
willpower. I do have a willpower.
In your hand, pool.
I've not done anything since I played the thing, have I? No, so sorry, it's not in my hand.
Oh, I do have an action card in my pool. I thought that action was the one that only did strength.
No,
dex,
no,
and
that's
damage.
adrenaline, I think. I could.
Yeah.
Action does both, or all of them, basically.
Okay, I'll swap you. What have you got for me then?
Adrenaline. It's the same just for physical actions.
Yeah. Swap over then.
I'm away from the keyboard.
I'll give
so
you
just
my
assume that we'll do that in a minute. Tell him what the action code. You can pull it in from the images. The images
Plus
section.
3. Plus 3.
What number? Action what?
Oh, 12.
So then, and if you know what the number, I meant the adrenaline one. Sorry, so that you can pull that into Durax, Paul.
Oh yeah.
No, I just need to that.
What's the adrenaline number?
Doesn't matter. Just pick an adrenaline from the pool as long as it's performance
Okay.
already.
Adrenaline 4.
Take.
I'll do 7. I'll do
Found
7.
it. It's 4. If it matters.
There you go.
So you've added
There we go. Done.
3. That puts you to an outstanding success, yeah? So he's disfavored. And you're going to be very stymied or stymied and very vulnerable.
Steinman, I'm very, very vulnerable and disfavored. Let's say that maybe it could taste some sort of slippery embalming fluid or something, and he just loses his footing, and I don't know.
Oh, shards of it. Basically, you're going to hit him in the back, and I mean his legs are
Oh, okay.
unarmored, so there's some bits of scattered pottery giving him issues. So well done. Who's going next?
It was
Oh,
Theo
I
with
should get
his
a card.
little shot.
Yep, give me a second. I'm not on the keyboard, but I will give you a card.
Oh, what's this favor do, guys?
Means you lose your first reroll.
Oh,
No, sorry, it means you have to roll twice and take the worst.
Hey, I was right.
I think.
Oh,
I think.
Yeah, that's what I remember as well.
it's the it's
Opposite of
it's the
favoured.
opposite of favored. Okay, yeah.
So who's next? Quick.
It was
Um,
Theo we were waiting for.
Well, I'll attempt to shoot him in the back then, while he's very vulnerable.
Right, so his dodge is a 9.
Oh, it rolled off. 11. Let's use my last possibility. Come on. 23. So, I'm going to use my coup de grace as well to do 23 damage, armor piercing 4.
Okay. So the worst of those two is the 9. He will spend a possibility to roll again on the 9.
Does he have to take the worst of these as
No,
well?
because it's coming off of the back of the 9. Die total 7. Okay. You're certain you're on target, but at the last minute he turns and looks at you and just ducks behind one of his minions. You instantly track and shoot, and one of the shock troops goes down in his stead.
2 possibilities there gone down again.
Yep. What was the damage you were doing? Because it is a reality-rated shock trooper.
23 and 4
with
armor piercing.
toughness 8. That's a 15. He's only got the 1 wound. He's going to try and soak. He's probably not going to do it.
Oh,
At least
another
he
one.
uses up the bit. So toughness, reality skill, 9. Now this guy isn't buggered, but he still needs to get a 10 or higher to do anything. In fact, he needs a 15. No, he still goes down.
Nope. I'll spend another one. Go on.
So one shock troop is left with a possibility. It's one of the 2 that are still with him, just to let you know. And there are still 6 possibilities in the pool.
All right, but I can shoot him now.
You can.
Yay! Nice.
By the way, that ability he just uses minion.
Oh right, yeah. This yeah. Bummer.
Hooded Cobra may transfer any hit to a shock trooper within a few meters if he succeeds in a reality test. So you've made it a lot harder for him to succeed in the reality test, though, with your disfavoring and very vulnerabling and everything else. He's rolling off an 11, not a 15, and he's having to roll twice.
Well,
so dodge 9, Theo.
That's a similar minion thing as you get in Savage World, so I'm familiar with that.
So you're not at short range because you're on the roof, and the museum is described as having like 20 foot high or 20 meter high hallways.
Okay, but I'm going to go for a short burst, and I'm also going to use some Dragon Breath rounds because I want to just see him.
Yeah, because it looks cool in the night.
Yeah, basically, yeah. What was my bonus for the short burst?
It's a +2 for a short burst. That's all you're getting right now because you're too far away for the +2 for shotgun. And Dragon's Breath just changes it to fire damage, which does mean if you hit him, fire damage injures the least armored part of the target, and he does have his arms and legs do not have armor on.
Ha 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 ha! Here it comes then. I'm going to singe all the hairs off his legs. Here it comes. Oh, yeah, it's not too bad, I suppose.
That's a 17. You hit. That's 1 bonus die of damage.
I'll leave
You
it as
hit at least 1 hair.
Yeah. Oh, if it was a 1, I could have re-rolled it. Never mind. Okay, so that's 17 points.
17 on his baseline toughness of 9 is 1 wound and 2 shock, which he is going to attempt to soak. Rather than
Twice.
throwing a minion in the way. So he just succeeds. Oh no, he has to roll twice because he's disfavored.
Roll a 1. Roll a 1.
He just succeeds.
Well, never mind. I've got him.
Essentially, the round does hit him, but what basically happens is it explodes on his back, and briefly his back is wreathed in flame. But it just slips off as the leather is obviously not particularly flammable. That's the word I'm looking for.
Cool.
Ryoko hasn't gone yet, has he?
Ryoko hasn't gone, and Durak hasn't gone.
Yeah, but
So
gone.
now it's me.
Yep.
Since he ran from me, can I keep up with him and attack him again with my sword?
I would say you probably can attack him if you want. You're going to be able to get up close to him. Just double check. What's your dex? Let's just compare ground
10.
speeds. Yep, you can keep up with him. His is a 9.
All right. I dash
strikes.
after him and go.
Well, his melee weapon defense is it doesn't matter unarmed or melee. It's a 9 because he's very vulnerable at the moment, thanks to Dr. Dick.
So that's at least two dice, right? The one gets rerolled. Oh boy. So it's only 5. 5 is 18. I take shock, then it's 20. Oops. And 2 armor piercing.
Ooh, the second dice failed.
As the katana comes swiping down, he literally sees it. I mean, you don't see a look of fear because he's got a mask on, but quickly he just grabs out the nearest minion, grabs him by the throat, and literally just throws him in the way, and your sword cuts into the minion's torso instead. What damage are you doing?
18.
Okay. Now, one of the 2 minions still has a possibility left. Roll me a d6. On a 1, it's the minion with a possibility left that you threw in the way. Sorry, odd. That's what I meant. Odd numbers, because the 1's the bad. So it's the minion in the way. So that minion does attempt to soak. I don't think it's going to help, because they only have a little tiny soak of 9.
Double soaks, is it?
You kill him.
Yes.
And he drops the minion at his feet, but he's still running with the single remaining minion he has with him, and he's within reach of the boats. At the moment, you're at the top of the stairs down the quay, and he's maybe on like 2 or 3 steps down from you, Ryoko. And as he said, he pulled the minion in front of himself, and you've struck them down. Durak.
Come on, Durak.
I'm
That's
going
from
to
above.
run up. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm running up to the edge of the thing, see him below me, and then jump down and do a Wolverine land on his back with my claws out.
Okay. It is a 20-metered fall.
I know it is 20 meters. Or I thought you said 20 feet.
No, 20 meters.
Anyway.
He is quite a soft landing for you, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing this. This is good. This is going to work.
We've never touched falling damage before, you know.
We have.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
We have. I've done falling damage before in similar games to TORG, so yeah, it's going to be a lot of
environmental hazard, drowning, electricity, falling. Right, okay, so it's 20 plus 1 bonus die of damage for a 20-meter fall. Let's say armor adds a maximum of +2.
Okay, but the thing
He'll
is,
be
does
fine.
the person I hit get hit by the damage as well?
Maybe, but he's moving. You've got to get there first. The problem you've got, he's probably 6 meters away from the wall, so it's a bit of a situation. So, first off, how are we going to do this? It won't really be unarmed because it's more like jumping and stuff like that.
Maneuver.
So targeting is just going to be like a maneuver skill on this one.
Mm-hmm. They've got good in the maneuver. Okay, I'll do maneuver.
It's going to be versus his. So you are looking his. There goes. It's there. Yeah. So it's a 12 at this point.
Thank goodness, -2. Oh, for goodness sake.
Hey,
Second chance.
the only
Second
thing
chance.
that can get that out of the way. Well done.
Friggin', that was a nightmare, that one.
Hey, you pulled
Okay,
it.
double read.
so
Go
you
on.
are just on target.
I'm possibility in it.
Okay. This is actually, you should have done one. Yeah, so you're actually doing a multi-action here. So the bonus number you're getting here is going to be, if you're doing an unarmed attack as well, that will be the bonus number.
I thought what was going to happen if you throw yourself to the ground and fail so that you miss.
like a
Where am I doing
belly
here?
flop.
16.
No, you just don't hit the ground.
You missed the ground.
My skill is. I'm still doing the maneuver, haven't I?
Yeah, but it's one bonus number at this point. So whatever the bonus number comes out of this, that will be applied to anything else you're doing this turn. And remember, you're doing a multi-action, so it's going to incur -2s.
Can I
So
complete
it's
the
a
game
-2 in here, yeah.
clipping through the floor?
Yeah.
You're
The
right,
dwarf
-2 in
creates
here. There we go.
anti-gravity by missing the ground. Achieves flight.
Come on, Dwarfy. 109.
Really? I think you did something wrong there.
If I got a
Now we'll
different
take it. We'll take it. We'll have that. 109.
It's okay.
I'll do
29.
It's a
It's a plus
bonus
nine.
number of 9. Yes. So 9 onto what your maneuver one. What's your maneuver?
my maneuver is. Wait a minute. My maneuver was maneuver
It's
is
100. Wow.
11.
So that's a 18 on your maneuver. So you do land on target.
Okay.
However, yes, you are going to take falling damage.
Okay. Can I add my adrenaline to that to make it 21? I think 21's better because 21's how
Well, it's
many?
giving
It's
you
9 above.
Yeah, it's going to give you bonus regardless. So it's the same applicable.
Okay.
So first things first.
First things first.
24 damage applied to Durak.
Okay. Toughness is 15.
Only 2 points of armor apply.
Why?
Falling damage. You can only apply 2 points of armor to falling damage.
Okay. What happens if I've got extra strong armor because I'm rune?
It's 2 points for armor, unless the rune does it for particular reasons, but I don't think it does.
It gives me armor protect. It stops people in penetrating my armor.
Yeah.
Right. So it'll be a 13 then.
So 13 for 24. So that's
24.
2 wounds and 4 shock to you.
I will.
Half of that
multi
will apply
myself.
to him. There's 2 wounds and 4 shock to you.
Yeah, 2 wounds, 4 shock.
He takes 12 against his toughness of 9, so that's 2 shock to him as he barrels forward a bit as you basically land sort of like both feet on his back. He goes forward a bit, you land, but you did get there, so you are right next to him.
Okay, so I can. This is
dodge him as well.
Yeah, I have to tell him what my number is.
Yeah, so bonus number of 9, -2, bonus number of 7 on your unarmed combat. His unarmed combat defense is a 13 right now.
19.
19 versus 13, that's 1 bonus die.
Oh.
I don't reroll
Nope,
once,
you haven't
so it's 17 AP2.
Didn't you use your adrenaline card?
17, yeah, but that's already added to the bonus, so that's already was included. So what was it? What damage? 17? AP2, 17 from 9. That's 6. That's 1 wound and 2 shock. Right. Let's see if he succeeds. He has to roll this twice.
What's the bonus?
The lower. So As he stumbles forward, his remaining minion leaps forward to defend his lord and master and gets in the way and basically takes your claws full in the gut. Last
He's out of
defensive shot.
minions.
Down. He is out of minions.
I mean, there's no one
However,
else to go.
he isn't. There's no one else in your sense. It's next round, and this will be the last round for tonight. On the drama deck, we have Let
Is it
Them
us?
Have It.
Yes.
Goes first.
super.
Yes. Attacks. Right, I'm going to attack him right now. Get it over with. Oh, good one. It has to be the 15 because there's no possibilities left.
Unless Ryoko plays the card to give us all the possibilities back.
Sure, play the card.
Many
Play at
possibilities,
any
I guess.
time. Any Storm Knight who wishes may immediately refresh his possibilities.
3 then.
Cool.
Okay, yay.
Yay.
I'm going to use a possible.
So you get all of your
What's my
possibilities back.
This is what we
Theo, you
started
should now
with.
be on
8, 9,
3.
10, 11, 12.
Dirac, you should. Well, you've just spent one, so.
Thank you.
Yep, very
Oh,
handy.
my
that.
dice roll was still 16. Well, that was. I don't have to change that part. There, 21's my total.
Okay, so that is his dodges refresh. That's 1 bonus die damage.
Still 1. That's 18 AP2.
18, so that's 1 wound. So he's going to spend a soak.
How many soak dice have you got left? I
Soaks.
soaked it.
We have
Someone else.
4 group possibilities left. Who's next?
I'll shoot before too many people get involved.
Okay. Well, yeah, because at the moment you're shooting into a combat. So if
see.
you get an odd number, you roll randomly to see who you hit.
Yep. So I don't want an odd number on the dice roll. That's right.
Your
isn't it?
end total needs not to be odd. Yes. Your
Total or
die
dice roll total.
Good one.
I'll stick
Keep
with
that.
that.
One.
I'll stick with that. 20.
Okay, that's 1 bonus die damage.
Where away is things? Ooh, nice one. +4.
That is 18 damage.
So that's 7 results. That again would be 1 wound and 2 shock. He will attempt to soak.
If I'd have done 3 extra points of wounds, would that have put up to my damage?
70. You would have
So
got
I'd
an
have had a
extra die,
23.
yes. You would have got an
I'll
extra
play
die.
my action then. Can I play my
Okay.
action then?
Yep. So roll another d6. Ooh, nice.
Hey,
12.
12.
What
So
was
that's 26 now.
26, 11 off of that. That's a 15. That's 3 wounds and 6 shock. So
Come on,
he
mess
needs
up.
a 20 to get rid of all of it.
Oh.
He's on a 16.
Oh. For God's
Spending
sake.
another
Stop
possibility.
rolling well.
Let them use up all his possibilities. That makes it easier for
He's
the-
got what, 2 left
He's
after
got
this
2
then?
left after this. Yep, he manages to soak.
Right, come on, next person. Let's get
I'll have
2
him,
possibilities
I'll have
left.
Okay, here it comes.
Let me
Take it.
shoot him before
Hey,
Ryoko
don't
goes
forget
in.
the personal the group pool doesn't refresh
Oh, we
at
gain
the end of the
cards.
scene either.
Can I have cards, please?
Yeah, approved
We gain
action
cards.
for attacks.
Who's the card you give him first? Durex or Abraham?
Dirac, you get a drama card.
For you first.
You get a second chance, Abram. Ryoko, Theo, Dr. Sanders, who's next?
All right, I'll shoot him for me.
Me,
Make sure your dice
You wait,
roll is
Ryoko.
even.
Okay, don't forget you are firing into an engaged melee. So if you do get an odd number, we roll randomly to see who you hit.
Still have a 50-50 chance of hitting him.
Or Dirac.
But him. Come on, Theo.
I'm saying my name.
So if you're doing short burst,
Yes, I am. So that'll be +2, will
so
it?
plus
Here
2.
it comes.
Yep.
Oh, that's not bad.
I can't even. Oh, 16. That's good.
Oh, possibility.
Go
Oh,
on.
yeah, 16.
Yeah, no,
Aye.
yeah,
Plus
the
19, the 19
so
bits.
the dice rolls the 16. That's the
Yeah, I'll let
important.
the right thing. There you go.
So 19 is enough again for 13. 1 bonus die of damage.
Is there a possibility and try and get another one?
You can do it,
That's
No,
but that runs
no.
the risk because that 16 might then turn into an odd number.
Okay,
This
yeah.
this
There
definitely
should be.
hits him.
Entirely
Right.
up to you.
Oh, god damn it, that's the worst thing I can roll. 17
Nah,
points
just
again.
whittle
It's
down
still-
his whittle down his.
Still fighting Dragon's
yeah.
Breath.
Uh-huh. There you go.
So what's the damage with
17.
the 2?
17.
17, that, again, he doesn't get his armor, so that's 9, still only 1 wound, and 2 shock, so he's going to spend a possibility to try and soak.
We need to roll below
on.
9, and that way we can get him to use another possibility.
Oh,
So,
he's got one left. Damn it!
Ryoko,
Come on, Ryoko.
Dr. Sanders.
I know we got Dr. Dick as
No,
well. haven't we?
Yeah,
I go.
well, I didn't want to actually shoot him because I thought,
Well, Ryoko's in melee.
Possibility.
Oh, sorry, you should have been, yeah, so if it's an odd, it might hit Ryoko as well. Sorry, my bad.
What?
Instead, sorry. It's not a 50-50. You've got a 66-33 chance.
I thought Ryoko wasn't in.
No, Ryoko's been
Yeah.
fighting with
Oh,
melee,
okay.
yeah.
I'm just wondering how these boats are lined up because, and also if they have those, I don't know what they're called, the engines like hanging off the back.
You can see there
There
are
are boats.
unattended speedboats at the quay as well.
Yeah, no, I just figured like if I shoot like the furthest one away and like in the engine, maybe make it explode because I got possibilities and whatnot.
You might be able to. They're not really. They haven't got huge. They haven't really got huge fuel tanks like that. They look like small nimble
21.
speedboats. 21 against his dodge. That's 1 bonus die of damage.
Wait, isn't he crushed by TORG or something? Well,
Not
no,
at the
no.
moment. That's worn off. That's worn off.
Okay, 1 bonus die.
Ryoko.
15.
For him.
I could go up to 17.
Is there any AP on your katana? There is, isn't there?
2, yeah.
So that's currently okay. That's 1 wound because he's got a toughness of 9 versus this. So 15 versus 9 is a 6. If you went up to a 2, it's an 8. It's not an extra wound. So that's 1 wound and 2 shock at the moment.
How many
Okay,
wounds
just
do we
last
need to do
possibility.
to him?
He is
How many
going
wounds
to
do we need to
take
do to him?
that wound. He
Oh.
has 3 wounds. He has taken 3 wounds. He needs a 4th wound to take him out. Dr. Sanders.
Can I hug him?
I hope he. I assume you've been added -2 to every roll he's been doing
I've been
recently.
taking it into account, yes, and he's now -3.
Ugh. Boo.
So do I shoot him or do I shoot the boat? Shoot him or shoot the boat?
There
Shoot
are
him.
2 boats
Take
waiting
him.
for him and a 3rd
This is-
boat accompanying them.
Yeah, his goes next.
Let's get rid of him before he runs off.
All right, all
Try
right.
and, we,
I've no wounds
Just
left.
have to be
He's got
lucky.
1 possibility. So if you get a really good roll, you can do it.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna.
Good luck.
try-
Don't get
thing is-
odd.
Drug
Don't get
quick
odd.
speed with my 45, and
Oh.
Ooh. That was
It's
bad,
even.
It is even.
But I'm gonna spend a possibility,
Okay.
if you don't mind, or you'd rather have me.
Go for it. You're missing anyway at the moment, aren't you?
Yep.
Yes.
Ooh.
you've got a boomstick as well. I know someone else has got a boomstick.
Yeah, baby.
No, Theo.
God, don't keep us in suspense. We're overrunning.
Mine's a boomstick. Oh no!
We have
And it counts as a 10.
an odd die total.
Why doesn't it count as a 10? But it's
Well, you've got
14.
a die total of 15.
What?
You rolled an 11.
Why is it I total 15?
Because he's coming up with a die total of 15, unless he's put it in wrong again.
He got a 4 on the first one. Oh, he's put the
'cause
5 in.
Stephen-
It should be. You should have put 4 in, not 5. Die total's 4.
Oh,
So die total's
Let's do it
14.
again properly.
Oh no, it succeeded.
No, it's fine. So, but that does mean that his total is only a 12,
It does.
and he misses.
Do you not have any cards to
Oh.
spend here to improve that roll?
I don't.
Okay.
I mean,
we'll
I've got
that then.
lots of possibilities, but it doesn't
Well,
do anything.
With one possibility left, there are some shock troops behind you that start firing to try and distract you. The hooded cobra bundles down the last couple of steps into the lead speedboat, which zips off, followed by the second one, and then followed by the one with 5 shock troops in it. Those shock troops take a pot shot at Durak with a fire combat of 13 due to multi-action. What's your dodge, Durak?
13.
13, so that hits. So you are peppered with a grand total of damage 13 against your armor, which I think is just going to be either 1 shock or 2 shock. What's your armor at the moment?
15.
So 1 shock. However, we will rejoin this next week, as you note that there are other speedboats at the quay unattended, obviously there for the remaining troops that are left behind, and we will enter into the chase in the Venetian Canal. Well done, guys. That was very, very, very close to derailing a mega adventure, because this is you're just going into the Nile Empire mega adventure, which is a 7-act scenario. You
So
almost
if we'd-
derailed it in the
if we'd have
first
stopped him.
scene.
If we'd have stopped him, we'd have
It
completely.
wouldn't have stopped things entirely, but you'd get into the point where the ref would go, right, how do I make that work from this point? Because honestly, the people that wrote the scenario didn't take that into account. Okay? So well done. You
Nearly.
came
So
to, I mean,
close.
honestly, I had to use all but one of the group possibilities, all of his possibilities, and the ones that I'd given to the bad guys. So that was a very good attempt.
Yeah,
But the action continues.
I had a
Think-
feeling that. I had a feeling
gonna
that this
say-
was the sort of thing that you're not supposed to actually
Okay,
do.
if you'd stopped him, you'd stop him. Honestly, that was it on that last roll. If you'd stopped him, you'd stopped him.
Well, the thing is, if he hadn't them 3 minions, he would have been stopped a long time
I
ago.
know, that's why they give him the minion trait.
No, but I mean, if you hadn't pulled out 3 minions, if you just let him run by himself and just let the line up there.
However, they have taken that into account. It describes as he leaves, some of the troops leave with him, but he leaves others behind to try to hamper you guys. And there are still some behind you. You'll be dealing with those next week, but we're going into a chase. Okay, guys?
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah,
Very
good.
exciting.
Well done.
How many experience do we get
It's
for that? 'Cause
not
I
the
feel
end
it was
of
like
an
worth 20.
See,
I felt like 20.
I feel like we need some.
I jumped off a whole
you
roof.
did, and almost broke
I'm
your leg in the
surprised.
process.
Yeah.
This,
It's only
just to let you know,
possible-
this is Act 1 of The Fires of Ra, which is the name of the adventure. And it is called Crime City. And you are in Scene 1, Night at the Museum. There are 4 scenes, sorry, because I haven't put the right bit on that. Actually, 5 scenes. I've used different naming conventions. There are 5 scenes in Act 1. This time next week.
5 scenes.
This
Darn
time
it.
next week,
Uh,
we're
Never going to
get
get XP then, are we?
Next week I might be in Carinthia, depending on lockdown and snow.
What's Corinthia?
The most southern state of Austria.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh,
Let us know. By the way, you're worrying about getting XP. By the end of this scenario, you will have completed 7 acts.
Wow, 35 XP.
35 XP, and there will be bits interspersed, because unlike the God Box, which was very much a we are chasing somebody, we cannot do anything but chase them, we are pursuing them continually, there are points within these in-between acts when other things can take place, and we will be doing that as we go through.
No worries.
Cool.
It'll be fine. Everything will be
Cool.
fine. Everyone will just roll
See you
ones at a very
guys.
important moment and we all
Yeah,
explode.
see
Yeah.
ya. Good night.
Yeah.
You were
Night.
thinking
Good-
very
good night,
roles in
everyone.
appropriate moments today, but yeah, night, guys.
Cheers.
Stay safe, everyone.
Cheers, John.
Cheers, John.